jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in their perfect spots. Adrenaline rush, hearts pounding loud. Every second counts, we gotta wow the crowd. Fingers flying, hands on fire. We're the kings and queens of this puzzling empire. Puzzled hearts, we're in this together. Filling in the pieces, bringing joy forever. Puzzled hearts will solve the mystery. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in a perfect spot. Adrenaline rush, hearts pounding loud. Every second counts, we gotta wow the crowd. Fingers flying, hands on fire, hands on fire. We're the kings and queens of this puzzling empire. Puzzled hearts, we're in this together. Filling in the pieces, bringing joy forever. Puzzled hearts will solve the mystery. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in the perfect spots. Puzzled hearts, we're in this together. Filling in the piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real. Piece by piece, we compete. Jigsaw puzzle on repeat. Speed is key, gotta move fast. Put those pieces in their perfect spots. Adrenaline rush, hearts pounding loud. Every second counts, we gotta wow the crowd. Fingers flying, hands on fire. We're the kings and queens of this puzzling empire. Puzzled hearts, we're in this together. Filling in the pieces, bringing joy forever. Puzzled hearts will solve the mystery. Piece by piece, our love for puzzles is real.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's competition. Could you just give me a little wave if you can hear me? All right. Great to have you all with us. Does somebody have a question? Somebody put their hand up. Name not available. If you need to change your name, you can just log out and log in. Just use an incognito fenster, and then you can change your name. And otherwise, if that doesn't work, just tell us what your name is. The current name says name not available. All right. Well, yes, today we have a 1,000 piece competition, and looking forward to seeing what we have today and to see how you all get on with this. I had a lot of fun with this puzzle, and I think you're all going to enjoy it. Welcome to our viewers on YouTube, and welcome to Jim, my co-host for today. How's it going, Jim?
Hello, I'm excited. It's been a really fun weekend for puzzle stuff, so I'm pretty jazzed. This is going to be a blast.
Yeah, you're right. There's so much going on this weekend. We've got the Swedish Nationals, the second day. So today will be the pairs and individual final. So we are missing some of the familiar faces from Sweden and Denmark. And yesterday there was a 12-hour competition in Belgium, which some people were participating in as well. So that was pretty exciting. Yeah, so we have a theme for today. It's about puzzling different piece counts, and so we asked the participants in the registration form. What was the question again? How does your approach change when you puzzle different piece counts? So, yeah, I'll throw that to you, Jim, to start off with. How does speed puzzling change working with different piece counts?
I mean, the probably the biggest thing that jumps out to me is stamina, right? Across those different piece counts, especially whenever you jump from 500 to 1,000. You have to be able to make sure that you have mental fortitude to keep chugging through for that long a period of time, right? Like being able to stay hyper focused for longer than about 10 minutes on any one thing is pretty difficult. But even more so whenever you add the physicality to it, especially if it's a pretty wide cut, your people's backs are going to start hurting. It's going to be a little bit of a grind to keep moving that much for that long. It's not like I don't want to put it quite on the same par as like like running a marathon, but it's a very similar mentality of, hey, you got to keep chugging along every step of the way. And that to me, that's one of the bigger things. There's a lot of technical tactics in there, but just the pure stamina, both mental and physical, is pretty rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Sandra, although you say you're not a speed puzzler, you do a lot of puzzles. So
Yeah.
how does your approach change when you're doing compared to like maybe a 300 or 500 piece puzzle up to 1,000 or even more?
Well, for puzzles below 500 pieces, I just flip them and sort out the edges, just like most speed puzzlers do. But for larger piece counts, I do a more detailed sort, so I don't have to flip up all the pieces on my table because it takes a lot of space. And I do a lot of using a lot of sorters and use trays and stuff like that to help me manage my space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that was one of the common feedback that we got is that a lot of people say that when they go to doing a 1,000 piece puzzle, they do a lot more sorting just to help with the space management and also just to kind of plan out what they're doing and give them time to plan out their strategy and that they don't get overwhelmed because, of course, if you jump from 500 pieces and you're used to having everything out in front of you and visible and then switching to 1,000, suddenly it's like, where do I look? My eyes are darting all over the table. So yeah, so I think we're going to probably see a lot of people using trays to manage the space, layering things on top, or just getting rid of the clutter and helping people to focus. Just what you're saying, Jim, something about the physical aspect of it. Yeah, that was also a comment. Alejandro says that he always sits down for 1,000 piece puzzles. So we're used to seeing him like bent over the table really close and moving hectically, but he also has his limits and his preferences. So we have lots of different comments. So definitely talking about space management is really important, and sorting was also very strong. And we also had a lot of people say that this is their first time to do a 1,000 piece competition. And some people also have only done like 2 or 3 1,000 piece puzzles. So really excited for them to see how they go with this one. All right. Well, thanks, Sandra and Jim. And I'll just get back, check that everybody's ready to go. Thank you. And welcome to our viewers on YouTube. You can also let us know how your changes approach if you're puzzling 500 or 1,000s, or maybe you even use 100 and 200 piece puzzles for your speed puzzle training. I find like for doing like practicing like flipping speeds or like going for border first or not, you can use smaller puzzles to really practice that a lot better. Okay, so it looks like everybody. Okay, Victor is putting away his practice puzzle.
Always important to have a warm up to make sure that your fingers are going the fastest that they can right away, right? See, it seems like a minor thing, but as soon as you can lock in that fast pace and then carry it throughout, that's a really good space to be in.
Yeah. All right, so we've got over 80 people in the meeting. That looks about right. Okay, so please unwrap your puzzle.
Here's the big drum roll. What's it going to be? What's inside the box?
And I think this one had stickers on it, or yeah, just take off anything that's hindering the box lid from coming off.
I see a bunch of doggos.
So when you're ready, place the box back on the middle of the table. Okay. So yeah, there is a paper bag in this one. There's no poster. So, all right, everyone has their puzzle on the table ready to go. Let's do a countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck, everybody.
Let's go. Good luck. And good morning to everybody as we jump into EJJ 55, the second solo 1,000 competition. This is really exciting. Yeah, tell us a little bit about this puzzle, Michelle.
Yeah, so this is from the brand Happily. We've had this one time before with a pairs puzzle, the Something Fishy. And this is a brand from the UK, and they use beautiful artworks. This one is called Art Dogs. So yeah, dogs with dog pun names of famous artists. The artist is called Nia Gould, and she often uses cats in her artwork. There's also a very similar one with cats on it, but this one is the one with dogs. It's really fun. You've basically got 15 mini puzzles. Everything has a white border. Everything has a little bit of text, and yeah, it's just super fun and colorful. A great one for sorting, and yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a really lovely puzzle, Michelle. It's also pretty cool because there's a lot of good texture pulls that are inside of here. If there's about 15 cells, that means that each one is going to be about 66 pieces or so. So it's sort of like doing several sprints back to back if you can get those color differences down really well. Like at my first glance at it, I know a lot of people shy away from fur or those kinds of textures, but that gray stripy Jackson pinnock, great. It sticks out to me pretty well texture wise, but it might be hard to put together. Some of the backgrounds on like Vincent van Gogh, like you really want to be able to find the distinct things and group those together in order to try to knock this out quickly. We'll probably see some puzzlers go for the border. I'm not sure if you need to on this because everything is pretty distinct pull-wise.
Yeah, it is all a white border, and I mean they do.
Oh yeah.
They do have a little bit of like each color on it, so there's very few pieces that are pure white, but still, it's not something you need to pull at the beginning. I'll just introduce who we've got on the screen. We've got Aaron from the UK. He says with higher piece counts, he cries more. I think I'm going to have to do an interview with Aaron and Graham at some point from the UK. They always provide answers with a lot of humor, and sounds like they always just have a good time. We also have Alejandro, and he looks like he's doing it on a mattress, like on a pull-out mattress. Maybe he's visiting someone or at a hotel, or just a coffee table with a strange texture. I will say, if it is a mattress, that would, for many puzzles, it would be a disaster, but not for Happily, because Happily has a really tight fit. You can basically just complete some pieces and pick it up and just slap it over there. So yeah, he's standing up for the flip. We'll see what Alejandro how he gets on later. We also have Alina from Germany and Angelica from Germany. Anna A from Cyprus, and Anna L from Germany.
Yeah, I always love watching people's flip early on. One of the big differences you can see right away between 1,000 or a 500 or even a 3 is that at about 3 minutes, at a little over 3 minutes, we would have already seen people have completed their flip and started working. With 1,000, you're probably going to be closer to about 5:45, maybe 6:30 on the flip, just because there's that many more pieces that you got to get through, especially for some of the speedsters. It is fun to see Alejandro. The table looks like it's lower than his seat, which might be difficult on his back. We'll see if he powers through here on this. But we're gonna have a pretty exciting start here. Yeah, you can see that Alejandro's already. It looks like he's sorting the edges as he flips, but he doesn't always go for them right away.
Yeah, so we now have Anime from Switzerland, April from Ireland, Ajalyn from Argentina, Cameron from Canada, Chiara from Italy, and Claudia from Germany.
Yeah, you can see on Cameron's screen, they're also sorting some of the edges, I think. It's about half of that whole piece of the edge that's just white. So you have to do very small clues if you want to try to piece that whole thing together. I think a good strategy here might be to try to do this by components. So whenever you go to start working on one of those cells, one of those groups, you just grab those particular ones out of the border pile rather than trying to brute force that whole thing. But a lot of it depends on what the colors sit on those pieces and how the puzzler sees them. You know, lighting can be a big effect. How often you do that kind of puzzle is huge. I don't know how common Happily is in the UK. I know that they've changed names a couple of times, and that might kind of adjust how people are familiar with it.
Yeah, they have some really good puzzles for speed puzzling because they all have a similar style. They often have just a white background with kind of like color blocks, really nice sections, and kind of like over the head, like objects on a table type of views. So everything has nice clean borders to all of the sections.
Yeah. Yeah, we're coming up on the 6-minute mark here. You can see Anime doing a big sort ahead of time. April has a support team there, which is really exciting. You always want to have people rooting for you as you're puzzling. Aline getting through that pile very rapidly. You can see also pulling the edges out of that big pile, and Claudia making great headway as well.
Daria Bocek, Daria, your camera is off. Please check that. Daria from Poland.
Yeah, SJ here is mentioning that he has puzzles from all 3 of their brand names from over the years. Yeah, there's
really?
a little bit of a Dread Pirate Roberts kind of thing.
What were they called before? I'm unfamiliar with that.
I think they've shifted it from Happily to Happily Puzzles, and then there was another one in there. Sammy Brownlow was mentioning this a while back whenever I was talking to her about a different puzzle. Yeah.
Elodie Serrano, your camera is also off. I've checked both of your devices and the camera is off. And Daria, please check your camera. So we have Cornelia from Austria, Danny from Netherlands, Elena from Latvia, and Eliza from Denmark.
Yeah, and you can see that Cornelia is still getting through this flip, but it seems like there's a pretty decent sort going on. She has what looks to be either sorting trays or just extra room further on her right, and she's dumping clumps of those pieces in. And we've seen a lot of people talk about the trade-off of doing a little bit more sorting up front. I think a big part of that on 1,000 depends on what kind of puzzle it is. If you have a huge landscape, doing a lot of sorting can be some extra touches unless you're super duper accurate on that. Puzzles like this, where things are pretty well contained, there's not a lot of duplication of colors or textures, you have a little bit you have a higher likelihood of making that sort accurate right out the gate, and that can pay off for a lot of people, which is pretty neat. is that Dari? Yeah, Dari seems to be plowing away here, getting through that pile very quickly. And Elena's doing a good job. You can see that she's started to pull some of that green texture. I think it might be for the Vincent Vindog Van Gogh. I love these pun names. And is going to make some good headway there once she gets going. And Elisa, yes, Elisa has sorted the edges and is also doing an additional pull from parts of the pile and is getting ready to get going on some of the assembly.
Yeah, so with this puzzle, I did find myself doing a lot of sorting up front. There's this one dog called Jackson Porlock, which is it stands out very easily because it's basically black scribbles on a grey background. So it's the darkest and yeah, has least color on it, so that one did stand out. But I did actually just put it aside because I was like, I'm not doing that one anytime soon. It looked like the hardest one. It was actually like the one that I did second to last. But even then, what I found is really great is that even like each puzzle in itself is not that many pieces, and everything has a white border, so you can always just do the border of that mini puzzle first and then kind of work your way outside inwards. So that's, yeah, a really fun thing about like collage style images.
Yeah, absolutely. Using any kind of trick to give you to as Becca Taylor calls it, lowering the noise of the pile, so that way you can focus on things that you can assemble. So if you can see the outline or like the borderline between the inside of the cell and the outside of the cell, that's a great way to get a handful of pieces in, and then you have more information to keep going. It's really great.
Yeah, so in the top hand corner, we've got Everly from Estonia. So actually we have 3 Estonians today. So I'll introduce them later, but I thought that was quite nice. The most representation we've had from Estonia.
Congrats, Estonia.
We also have Eva from Poland, Franziska from Germany, Hannah from Finland, Helen from the UK, and Helen from the UK. And it looks like Hannah is going straight for the border, whereas Francisca is pulling out the spotty one. So it's called Yay Dog Kusama, and it's basically made up of dots. So there's like a black and yellow background. And she said in her comments that she prefers to pull pieces out of a box as opposed to spilling everything out on the table.
Yeah, and we can see her digging through that box to find exactly what she's looking for. It's a pretty interesting way. I remember whenever I was with the first couple of puzzles that I did, that's basically what my method was to shake the box a little bit and see what could pop out. We'll see how this goes for her. It's you're going to see a lot of puzzlers gravitate towards those yellow spots because they are one of the more distinct colors that stick out within the pile. So I think a lot of people might sort that and get going on it early. It's going to be really fun to see how people approach it. You can see Francisca there has some of the outline and is really working on the border lines between colors rather than trying to build from the middle out on that dog, which is really great. Hannah is also doing a fantastic job getting this border in, coming in at just over just over 12 minutes. That full border is about 126 pieces on a 1,000-piece puzzle. So if her flip is around 6 minutes, she's really cooking on that. But it seems like she might have about 30 pieces left, maybe 40 of that border before jumping to the next thing. So she's making really good progress here right away.
Yeah, so we also have Inga S. Inga S from Lithuania, and then Inga S from the Netherlands, Inka from Finland, Eva from Czechia, and Jane from Denmark.
Fantastic. Yeah, you can see Inga S. They're using a couple of different puzzle sorting trays. seems like they're making really tight groups there too. You can see that they have small little mountains of pieces that they're going to build through. The full sword up front can feel a little scary, but if you're really accurate with your assembly, it can pay off. It can pay off over time. You can also see that Inca in the lower left there doing a very similar thing, has nice tight rows, and she almost has that yellow spotted dog, the Ye dog, the Ye dog Kusama, almost fully complete there, and that's going to be about 66 pieces or so. Eva is also almost done with Vindog Van Gogh and is starting to work on Rothdog. I love the Rothdog setup on that. But doing a very, very fantastic job. You'll notice that she hasn't done a full sort, but she's going through the pile and grabbing the pieces that match the texture of the color that she's wanting to work on the most. Jessica there making pretty decent progress on the edge, getting those corners in and built. Yeah, and making pretty solid progress.
Yeah, so now on screen we have Jessica from Germany, Jonathan from the UK, Julia from Austria, Karina from Germany, Kati from Germany, and Katrin from Switzerland. And it's really great. Now we're starting to see some dogs being built. We can see Karina and Kati have both gone for the spotty dog. Also, Yulia has those pieces pulled out, Ye dog Kusama. And Kati has also done Pete Matrian. So the kind of, boxy graphical one with the big yellow square. That was also one that I did fairly early on. I really liked that one. So yeah, we're starting to see some which ones stand out. Definitely the spotty one jumps out to many people.
Yeah, I mean, you have something that's a bright color that's yellow that has a unique texture with the spots, and then the white and the red also. So it makes sense that a lot of people gravitate towards that early on. You can see Julia Kraus up there in the upper right is doing a lot of additional sorting, but also has the spotted dog already built. And I think it's Katrine Stahl, in the lower right, is using several different boxes as the sorting trays, which is a really great way to recycle some of your boxes if you're not sure what to do with them. Just use them as sorting trays. It's an excellent move. Karina there in the left has spotted dog and is also beginning to make pulls, and Kati making great progress as well. And this is where we're coming up on the 16-minute mark, and it's really easy to settle into a rhythm of, okay, we're on the 1,000. I'm just going to keep chugging along here. And that's where very early on, a lot of puzzlers will start to slow themselves down unintentionally, because you kind of settle into, this is going to be a long haul, so I'm going to take my time. Hey, this is speed puzzling, guys. You got to treat this as though every step is the fastest one you got to take, right? So you got to keep on trucking. You want to keep that pace going fast the entire time, not just whenever you're starting or stop. Not just whenever you're doing the flip. You want to be keeping that pace going the entire time. Go, 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 go.
Yeah, so we have Kyle from the USA participating for the first time today. Now he's one of the most well-known, puzzle streamers on Twitch under the name of Kyleco. He is actually streaming today on Twitch if you also want to check him out and send him some encouraging messages. And he will also be a guest interview later in the piece if he's feeling up to it. It is like, what's it, 3 a.m. or over his
something
time?
like that, yeah.
So let's see how he feels. He can just decide later after his finish if he's feeling up to it, or if he'd rather crawl back into bed, which would be totally understandable. We also have Larissa from Germany, Laura from Hungary, Lena from Germany, and Len from Denmark.
Yeah, and you can see Kyle plowing through this border. He also has a black table, which might make some of those whites pop really well. And he's taking a path less traveled here. He's starting off with that with the Andy Warhol. Sorry, I'm reading the dog names and just giggling at the puns. But it's the Andy Warhol style in that upper right. And I can see why his eyes are attracted to that, because those are pretty unique textures that sit on the pieces. And he's not doing a major sort ahead of time. Kyle typically doesn't do a lot of that. He'll find the chunks that he wants to work on, pull them, and then try to fly through it. And he's making really good progress here, coming up on about the 18-30 minute mark. Larissa using that Kristen Thove one-handed style, and starting to, I can't quite tell which dog that is that she has. I think it's the blocky one, or it might be Pablo Pugasso. Making pretty good progress there. Len has at least 66 pieces in with the spotted dog, and is now working on the border of what I think is the lower right-hand side, that Henry Matisse dog, which is that gray background. And you can see that she's doing the outline of that cell first before working on anything in the middle, which I think is going to be a really important tactic for a lot of the puzzlers here. Len is also doing a really good job using that giant frisbee bowl as a sorting tray.
Yeah, so we also have on screen Lenka from Slovakia, Linda from the Netherlands, Lisa from Norway, Lynn from Belgium, and Maggie from Austria.
Yeah, you can see how much progress Lenka and Kate are making. They are flying. You'll notice that their hands never stop moving. We're coming up on the 20-minute mark, and their physicality of movement is the same now as it was during the flip. They haven't lost a step in any of that. It looks like Kati has about 3.5 cells complete, approximately. And Lenka is starting to move around. It looks like she's going to work on the Fido Calho, that blue background cell that's going to be in the top middle. Linda also has the yellow spotted dog, and starting to work on the Vincent van Gogh. And this is where you're going to see a lot of divergence with what cells the puzzlers work on. Which things do they find the easiest right away? Which thing does their eye attract to? And so even though there's a lot of differences in which cells they work on in which order, the tactics that they use in order to get those in are going to be pretty similar. You can see Maggie Gruns in the lower right has already done the outline of that dark blue cell, the Fido Calho, but she worked from the inside out on the Matisse on that Matisse dog, which is a pretty unique tactic. But for her lighting where she's at, that gray and white line divider between the inside of the cell and the outside of the cell may be harder to see for her right now. So she's starting with the things that she can see right away, and then is still proceeding. And that's one of the things with the thousands, is you have to keep moving. You have to keep working on what you can see right away. Sometimes there's not a whole lot of time to do what's perfect, whenever it's the case that what you're doing is already fast enough, right?
Yeah, what's interesting is that I did the Matisse last. I found that one, and I kind of struggled, because when you have the pieces and they're all got like a little bit of dark blue and a little bit of white kind of strokes, I didn't know which way was up and which way was down. I didn't know if I was holding a leg or a tail or an ear. And that was the one. So it's interesting that she did that one as her first one. Yeah, for me, I would have, if I had started that earlier on, I would have kind of like shoved it off to the side after a few pieces and given up, and moved to something that was a bit more obvious and easier to build. But yeah, good on her for getting that one out of the way early on in the piece. So we also have Maya from Finland, Marie from Norway, Marilise from Estonia, and Marta from Norway.
Yeah, and you can see some people are starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. If you really watch the hands, a big part of that is overall physicality. And this is where I was mentioning that on the thousands, it's easy to fall into that slower pace early on because you're settling into it. But they're still making really great progress here. Marlies getting that Rothko built out and down, and it looks like starting in on the Van Gogh. You can see that the way that her table's set up, she has also put in several of the edge chunks throughout the puzzle, just not all connected at once. So she's going to be able to fly through and get those in all in one go. Marie has a pretty good setup there, is use that rainbow spread of pieces. So that way she can kind of bring one from every side to where she wants to go to. Really, really fun to watch the different ways that people are attacking this. Somebody in the chat was mentioning, yeah, with these kind of collage puzzles, it's easy to feel it when you feel a slowdown to switch to a different spot and get some new momentum. Which is really great. Yeah, Jenny puzzles. That's a great point. If you start feeling a slowdown, move to a different spot so that way you can get some momentum going and feel that pace pick up again.
Yeah, so on screen we have Mooney from Germany, Nadia from Indonesia, but she lives in Germany. But nice to have some new nationalities being represented. We also have Nicole from Bulgaria, Nora from Finland, and Patrick from Switzerland. And for Nadia, this is only her second time to do 1,000 pieces. So yeah, very courageous to jump right in the deep end and go for it. And yeah, Nicole says that when she's doing a higher piece count, sorting is a must. And Patrick says with smaller puzzles, he likes to practice his speed or to do warming up for competitions to get his fingers ready. And yeah, he's also someone that we often see doing a warm-up puzzle before the main event. And with the higher piece numbers, he's trying to improve his endurance.
Yeah, the endurance is a huge part of it. But Patrick's doing a really good job here. It looks like he started out doing that gray shaggy Jackson Pollock, and has that built out. That might be trickier for some of the other puzzlers, so he got one of the harder ones out of the way early. And it looks like he's now moving on to Pablo Pugasso and sort of sunbursting down from something that he's already built. So he's in a pretty good spot. It looks like he's also done a little bit of sorting ahead of time, so he's going to be able to jump through. You can also see Nicole over there on the far lower left has done a lot of sorting and is still getting through parts of that. So we'll see how quickly the assembly catches up to the work that she's done ahead of time. Nora doing a pretty decent job here, has that rainbow built out of all of her other pieces. Looks like she has some edges off to the side and is making good progress on the lower left-hand side. Doing a quick check-in with Kati. It looks like she has 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 fully completed cells. They're not four fully completed cells once you kind of mush them together a little bit. But she's making really great progress, and we're only coming up on the 26-minute mark here. So some of these puzzles are really flying, and this is not easy to do by any means. For those of you playing at home, if you have 4 of those cells together and they're about 66 pieces, that's 264 pieces. So some people are getting 300 piece pace times out the gate, which is really, really impressive. And quite frankly, being able to do 1,000-piece puzzle in any amount of time, less than a day and a half, which is what it would normally take me, is really wild. So keep on pushing, everybody. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, so yeah, put your times in the chat, what you think the fastest time would be for this. So just as a comparison, we've done one 1,000-piece puzzle before. That was EJJ number 45 with sunshine puzzles. The fastest time was 1 hour and 19 minutes. And so very close together were Martia, Chiara, and Lenka, 1 hour and 19, which is an amazing time for 1,000 pieces. I did this puzzle in 1 hour and 56 minutes. So I was thrilled to do this under 2 hours. So there's about 20 to 30 people who are faster than me in this in this competition. So yeah, let us know what you think the winning times might be. So on screen we have Quinta from the Netherlands, Rachel from Denmark, Rika from Finland, Rika from Denmark, and Sabina from Czechia.
Yeah, you can see Rachel has done is almost done a full sort, and has even placed the pieces that she wants to work on approximately where they're going to end up. So rather than it being a thing of the sort and then having to move the pieces again in order to get in order to build them out, she's already spaced them out, which is a really, really great tactic, because then you don't have to go through and add an extra touch. Limiting the number of times that you touch each piece is huge, especially on 1,000. You know, on 100 or 500, you can make a couple of missteps, and you can grab the piece a couple of extra times, and it'll slow you down a little bit, but not significantly. If you retouch, you know, 300 pieces, that's going to be at least 150 seconds added to your total time, and you've added 2 minutes just by retouching some of the pieces on the 1,000. So those little retouches add up very, very rapidly. So the more accurate you can be on the 1,000, the faster your times are going to be, and it's hard to maintain the focus for that long. Quinta's doing a really good job here. You can see she's doing a similar setup of sorting a few things, putting them approximately where they're going to go, and then building it out, and then shifting around as need be. Really great start there, Quinta. Lots of fans in the chat rooting for Quinta. The Quinta crew going to town right now. Rika is doing a really good job. You can see that she's did the Shaggy Dog and is working on that blue background as well. And she's doing more of the bring the pieces to her and then we'll readjust. Whenever there's big cells like that, it can be easier to just do them in chunks and then look for the joins a little later. Rika has 1, 2, 3, almost 4 complete cells. I'm gonna call it 3 3/4 there. But she's moving very rapidly and is in the call here for one of the leaders. Really good job. And Sabina is doing very solid right now too. These 1,000-piece puzzles, let's keep in mind we're just over 30 minutes here. Getting any amount of this puzzle done in this time is bananas. So congrats to everybody that's pushing right now, and keep on going. This is about the time whenever that fatigue starts setting in a little bit, where you're like, okay, I've been working on this for about a half hour, right? And this is where that mental fortitude, that mental game of saying, hey, we got to keep trucking. I know I've been focusing for a little bit, but go. What's the next thing I can work on? What's the lens that I can change my eyes to in order to see what's next?
Yeah, everybody's doing a really great job. It's so nice to see these little squares coming together. Yeah, and you know, if it's the type of puzzle that if you just can't find the pieces to finish that little square, just move on to the next one, and you're going to find it eventually, and just yeah, keep up that momentum, and yeah, just see what catches your eyes next. Yeah, Rika's been doing a really great job. She has been improving so much recently, and she was one of the people who managed to do the sunshine puzzle under under 2 hours. So that's really great. And just want to mention, we're going to have a chat with Quinta later. Yeah, we tried to have a chat with her when we did the sunshine puzzle, but unfortunately we ran out of time. But we're gonna make time today, so we'll catch up with her a bit later. So on screen right now, we have Sarka from Czechia, Satu from Finland, Similia from France, and Celia from Norway.
Lovely. Yeah, Sarka, you can see, has their pieces over on their left-hand side, and has 1, 2, 3 cells about built, it looks like. They've also done the barquat. It's that one cell that's in the upper left-hand side on the box itself, but it has a lot of that graffiti art style. So it's fun to see what jumped out to Sarka there. The graffiti art style and the Andy Warhol colors seem to be the starting point there, which is really great, even though they're on opposite sides of the board. Samilia doing a great job, has sorted out several of the chunks there and is starting to plow through. I see at least three boxes there. Yeah, no, this is where people start to feel the grind. So make sure to protect your backs a little bit. You know, you can wiggle it out as you're still moving. Nobody needs to get hurt while puzzling, but keep on trucking away. There are some suggestions of what times we might be seeing in the chat right now. I'm just going to read a couple off. Um, we have a guess of an hour 15, an hour 27, an hour 17:33. That is a very specific, SJ. Another person saying an hour 17. That's Catherine. Um, it would be funny if the finish time is exact like that. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that we'll see a first place time around an hour 26, an hour 26:33, and then I'm gonna go out on a further limb and say that we'll see a top five that's all under an hour 45. I'm gonna be a little aggressive in that guess.
All right. We have on screen right now Stefan from Austria, Stephanie K from Germany. Oh, we got two Stephanie Ks. We got hang on, a bit confused. We have Stephanie Kapfer from Germany, Susanna from Germany, and Tamar from the Netherlands, and Tammy from the USA. Tammy says that space management is a lot different since the table gets crowded. So she probably has a lot of pieces where we can't see them off to the side there.
Yeah, Tammy's a legend of the puzzle community. Is like one of the founders of USA JPA, has been puzzling for a ton, has won all sorts of awards, and is a champion. And you can see why. She has several cells already built out, and she's not doing a ton of individual sorting up front. But whenever she goes to work on a cell, she'll grab those pieces, pull them, and then build that cell in one spot. And she's also bouncing around a little bit from project to project. You see, she's getting ready to go for another big pull here, which is really great to keep moving. Tamar, I just want to get the pronunciation right, is doing a really good job here. You can see that they haven't completed every single box that they're working on, but because they keep moving, they have a lot of pieces together, even if it's not complete. I always tell people, 85% is good enough. If you get 80 to 85% of the chunk done, that's great. You can move on to something else until your eyes see it easily. So they're making really great progress there. It's really kind of exciting to see that jump around.
What I really like what Tamar is doing is that you can already see the full dimensions of the puzzle. Even though the border is not completely done, you can see the width and the depth of the puzzle, and yeah, it's just about filling in the middles. But yeah, that's a really interesting strategy. They're kind of working on everything at once, but having a really good overview.
Yeah, you can see right now they're working on a specific chunk in the middle, and then if that's not working, she'll go and bounce to a totally different area after giving it a go for a little bit. Really great tactic there. Suzanne has at least four islands together, so about 270 pieces coming in on the 37-minute mark. So making some really great progress there. That's exciting. And Stefan using a puzzle board to separate some of the pieces there, and is also making good progress. You can see the Andy Warhol dog starting to make its appearance in some of the other puzzlers' repertoire here.
So we're nearing the end of the alphabet. We started at A today, and we're getting very close to the end. So right now we have Teija from Finland, Teresa from Czechia, Ula from Estonia, and Veronica from Slovakia.
Yeah, Teija's doing a really good job. You can see that sort of like what Tammy mentioned with piece management and the spacing being a little awkward. deciding where you want to sort certain pieces versus where you want to build versus where you want the pile starts to become a little difficult. But Taya's done a really good job of separating those out for herself, so she's going to be able to see those. Teresa has a lot of pieces sort of packed in, but I want people to notice Teresa's stance here. She has one leg up on a chair and is sort of kneeling. And it looks like she's leaning on that leg so that way she can take the pressure off of her back. It's a really cool tactic to make sure that you're not just leaning on your lower back and causing pain the whole time. That sort of protection up front early helps make sure that you're gonna have endurance throughout the whole time. It's a really great move, Teresa. And we can see in the lower left there, Ulia just did a big shift to grab a whole bunch of pieces and is going to start working on a new chunk as 3 down. And she also did a pretty good sort up front. You can see all the edges over there. And then it looks like the Warhol pieces and the Van Gogh. So by setting them up in that rainbow order, she can just grab a chunk, pull it down to herself, build it, move on to the next thing. Really cool. And Veronica, you can see that she has the lines taped off there, that orange line, probably for official 500 spacing for usual practice. But with this 1,000, you can see that she's also trying to place those cells approximately where they're going to go. And one thing I should point out, if you're not familiar with a brand, getting that spacing right out the gate can be very difficult. So folks that are doing that without the border put in and are making those estimations, they're doing a really, really great job. And it becomes a game of how soon do you start looking for the major joins between the different cells versus just chugging through.
Yeah, so the final 4 people in the alphabet, we have Vesna from Finland. She's also live streaming on YouTube if you wanted to check out her channel, Puzzling Happiness. Also, Tammy McLeod is streaming on her channel, Tammy McLeod Puzzler. We also have Vicky from Hungary, Vanida from Thailand, and Victor from Poland. And Vanida is joining us from Europe. I don't think we sent a package to Thailand recently, but that would be cool if we did. But yeah, happy to have her with us. And what I really like is Vicky has gone for the text. So she has got all the name holders already, and then she's going to place the pieces, doing her pick and place method, roughly where they belong over the names.
Yeah, and that just goes to show what jumps out to people in different ways. For Vicky, it seems that text was one of the easier things to grab onto. I'm trying to take a quick look. Yeah, those fonts, the font is about the same for all of those different wordings. So for her to be able to see that and place it so quickly is really phenomenal. Great job there, Vicky. That's a really cool methodology. And she's probably 1, 2, 3. I want to say with those words in is maybe about 4.5, maybe 4.5 cells in right now, which is really impressive. Juanita doing a great job there. Keep on pushing. We're rooting for you. And you can see Victor over here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Has about 6 cells completed in total. And you can see that he jumps around a little bit. One of the things that I really like about Victor's puzzling process is that he doesn't really he doesn't slow down. His hands are always working on something, which is huge, because if you can't be making progress in one place, then move somewhere else and make progress elsewhere. You can see that he just did a little bit of a sort to try to get some of those darker reds for the Rothko built in. And whenever he did so, he also grabbed a bunch for the Andy Warhol and sort of did those two as a simul together. So he's making really good progress here. And I saw Vesna there for a half a second. Is using that sorting tray in the middle to make sure that things stay organized. Really, really well done. Matt in the comments is mentioning, I could not puzzle on a non-white table. Please invest in a white table, people. And then he says, well, I have seen Christian do some crazy times on a brown table, though. Yeah, and it's interesting. We talk a lot about what the contrast is between the backgrounds the background that you're puzzling on versus what you're able to see, because you can end up with a lot of a lot of ambiguity between the pieces. Some people see black pieces easier on a black background because the difference between those colors pop out a little bit more. But by the same token, if you have a white background with white pieces, that can be pretty difficult too. So it really depends on what the puzzle is and how your eyes catch things. If you get used to a certain color of table, then anything that's not that is going to feel a little weird. Like you can see Kati and Hana, they both have these brown background tables along with Kiara, and they're some of the fastest puzzlers in the world. Anime also doing a great job and on that yellow shading. So it's really exciting to see how people's eyes adjust. Hannah might be, I'm going to say Hannah might be in the lead here with that full border that's like an extra cell and a half, really. So she's making excellent progress. You can see that she's pulled out a sorting tray to make the transfer from the main pile to where she's going to be working on a little bit easier. And that's one of the things that I think about using those sorting trays is more like an ejector button, where you want to get things onto the trays and off of the trays as quickly as possible. So that way you're focusing on assembly right after you get the sort done, rather than having something sit there for a really long time. But you can also end up using it as space management tool, which is really neat. Alejandro using that rainbow sort above his pieces, and you can see that he's crouching down over top of the table. I'm hoping that's to protect his back a little bit, but it's kind of like doing yoga while puzzling. It's really impressive. You can see he's bouncing from project to project. Has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to say maybe 6 cells together, all in all, and some. The full edge to get done. Sometimes he always pulls the edges first, but he doesn't always end up building it out. And I always enjoy how Alejandro shifts what his methodology is going to be based on the puzzle. He's not locked into having to do things one specific way in order to make progress. Kiara also doing a really great job here. You can see that she loaded up that sorting tray with several of the black pieces, and she put them on a white sorting tray. It might be easier to see them pop, and she's working on that shaggy dog. And you'll notice that whenever she picks up one of those pieces, she tries them in a couple of different spots very rapidly. You can see that she rotates it in her hand, then drops it in, which is going to save her time rather than taking the piece, trying it, pulling it back out, thinking about life, and then trying a different spot. Those extra seconds add up very, very quickly over a 1,000-piece puzzle.
So I would say, just at what we can see right now, it looks like Alejandro is in the lead from my perspective because all of his cells are finished. So he's got 7 complete cells, whereas the others have like also 6 plus a couple of halves, but maybe the dog is missing in the middle. But I mean, Hannah and Kiara also very far ahead, and Kati and Victor as well. But in terms of completed cells, Alejandro has kind of does it, make sure it's done before he moves on. But yeah, we're doing pretty well for like a really, really low puzzling surface. So extra points for Alejandro for on a it looks like a mattress on a very low base. But yeah, Inga also
and it is always difficult to tell like who's in the lead without doing a piece count every minute or so. So there is some estimations that kind of go on, and also the angles can be a little fun. So it's always a surprise. Alejandro is doing really, really well here, along with Hana, and Lenka is also making some good progress as well here. I pulled her up on my screen just to take a look. I try to keep an eye on everybody as well. Inga is doing well. That sun in the sign might be that sun might be causing a little bit of glare on her table for us, but for her it might be very easy to see. You can see Victor bouncing around from cell to cell, and he's starting to load up pieces on top of the puzzle itself. Rather than using a sorting tray, Victor tends to put the pieces right onto something that he's either completed, so that way he knows he doesn't have to go back to it, or he can just pull things off of that have the contrast. You can see that he's using that red dog to put blue pieces on, and then is pulling them off.
Yeah, so I'm just switching up the screens, just seeing else who's in the top 10, in contention for the top 10, or those who are the speedy speedsters. So I've also added Kyle and Tammy and Lenka to the screen. Lenka has got a really nice frame done, and yeah, some of her cells completely done. So yeah, there are 15 cells on the puzzle. So when people get to about 7, they're halfway-ish with the border.
Yeah, we're coming in on the 49-minute mark. So these puzzlers are doing a really fantastic job. And you know, we were talking about what's the difference between a you know, smaller piece counts and bigger piece counts. Well, on a 500, a lot of the top puzzlers have already finished by now, or getting close, even on those harder puzzlers around this 49-minute mark. A lot of the top puzzlers would have been fully complete even on a pretty difficult puzzle, and we're only about halfway here on these 1,000 pieces. So making sure that you're still grooving and moving is really important. You can see Tammy is using a clear sorting tray, which she allows her to put a piece onto the sorting tray and then kind of hover over things that she's already completed and see through a little bit in order to dunk those pieces down, which is pretty neat tactic. Kyle is making really good progress here. There's some disjointed work, but because he's bouncing from thing to thing rather than getting bogged down in something that might feel slow, he's still making a lot of progress. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 cells, and then the full border, so that's going to be about 6. Doing a really good job. Kiara also making great progress. Again, you can see that she's starting to move in on finishing up that border, which I think is going to be a little tricky, but she's going to be able to power through here. And switching things around, Lenka's doing a really fantastic job. I like her setup right now. And you can see that little bit of sort that she was doing earlier is starting to pay off. She's very rapidly getting that black dog into place. And you can see as she moved to a new cell, she got that momentum swing back, and her hands started moving very quickly again, right? Every time you can be excited about working on something or finishing it, you make a lot of progress, which is really great.
Yeah, I'd just like to mention that, like, if you look at Kyle's view, it kind of looks a bit chaotic, and yet there is order there, because he's put like the border pieces that he couldn't place straight away, he's placed them just above the image, and then he has all the rest of the pieces off to the right hand side, so he's only pulling from one direction. And then if we look at Lenka, she has also her pieces all to the left, and the pieces she's currently working on the cells that she has begun to start, or even if she can't place them, then she just places them above the puzzle, that she can grab them later if she needs them, but kind of very orderly as well.
Yeah, so having some sort of system on a 1,000 piece really helps make sure that your brain doesn't go through this process of, but wait, where did I put that thing, right? It's real easy to start drifting into a split pile, or a pile that's so big that you have to scan a larger portion of the table or get a little lost trying to find what you're looking for. So having really tight control over where you want to put the pieces helps make sure that on these thousands you can really groove. You can see Hannah just finished up a chunk of that Warhol, or sorry, not the Warhol, the upper left hand side, that graffiti dog. Because she was able to put some pieces on that sorting tray, dunk them in, and then get out as quickly as possible. Really well done. Just taking a quick look at the chat to see if people have made any comments so far. Yeah, so yeah, you're right that our backs hurts after watching Alejandro a little bit, a little bit. But he's making really great progress here. Tamara's doing excellent. Lenka's starting to dive in on that right-hand side where those reds are. And this is, again, where people's eyes see different things. Because she has that black table, those brighter blues probably jumped out to her a little bit. And now those reds that are a little bit darker might be bleeding into the background a little bit.
Yeah, so I've also added Quinta, Maggie, and Patrick to the screen to check on their progress. So they're all coming along well. We've all done about 6 or more mini puzzles.
Yeah, yeah. I've talked with a lot of puzzlers. Emma Pan, one of the U.S. puzzlers, talked about how sometimes what's handy to do is to just set a time limit, kind of like in Crew, to say, all right, for the next 10 seconds, I'm going to go as fast as I possibly can. And then for those 10 seconds or for that 1 minute, you just go at your maximum speed. That way, every so often, you're getting that burst of energy to make sure that you're really going as fast as you can, as often as you can. Because it's hard to maintain that high speed endurance the whole time, right? There's a reason that marathon runners, while they are very, very fast, typically aren't also sprinters, because it's a different set of mechanics. It's a different endurance in order to go through. And it's very similar here in speed puzzling. The bigger the bigger the beast count, the more endurance you have to have, the more sound the tactics and strategy need to be in order to make it successful. It's real easy to have a speed mechanical advantage on smaller piece sizes, but if you have a lot of accuracy missteps that can usually be covered up in a 300 or 500, as you get to 1,000, those start getting magnified, because every piece adds up much more dramatically as you keep pushing through. Suzanne has made some really great progress here. You can see that the pile's a little split, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6.5 total cells, doing a really good job there. And yeah, Hannah has a lot of this built out. You can see she's doing another round of sorting. Rika, you can see that she has a bunch of pieces over on the upper right-hand side. I think those are edges that have been sorted. Yeah. So she'll be able to go in and slam those through pretty rapidly. Is that a whale as the box manager there, Michelle?
Yeah, that's her new mascot. She made it herself out of she's quite handy with a sewing machine and with sewing in general. Although I think she sewed this one by hand. She used scraps from her other sewing projects and made herself a little whale mascot.
That's absolutely wonderful. I love everything about it, and it just makes me hope that you have a whale of a good time. This is excellent.
Yeah, I just want to point out, if you look at Rika's, she's got 2 images where she's done the outside of the dog, and there's kind of like 2 dog-shaped holes. That one is, the darker one is Fido Carlo, and the more like turquoise, lighter colored one is Pablo Picasso. So they both have black dogs in the middle, and I've seen several people do the background and then kind of leave like these black pieces to figure out later. So we can also see that a bit on Lenka's, and yeah, we've seen it on others. It's also Hannah has got like she's done the Fido Carlo background, the eyes, but the black is saving it for later.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. If it's not working, move on to something else. You know, I said very early on, my eye is attracted to that Jackson Pollock, that black shaggy dog. But just because you have the pieces for it doesn't mean you have to work on it. If you've sorted it, you can come back to it at any point in time if there's a slowdown somewhere else. But you never have to just sit there and slog. You're always better off moving to, you're always better off getting pieces in somewhere fast than feeling your speed start to decrease, zooming in a little too much on any one thing if it's not working.
Wow, so I just updated the screen. We've now got Victor, Alejandro, and Chiara. Victor has 11, no, hang on, we've got 14 of the 15 dogs partially done. He's only got the one which he hasn't started yet, so there's still a lot of gaps. Don't freak out. I would love it. It's 58 minutes, but he's definitely on the home stretch. I mean, you've got the frame, you've got all of the dogs in their positions where they should be with the main features, and now he's just got to fill in those gaps. And the like you see, like just the apple and the hat of the Rene Vagrita. So because the background is a bit bluish, cloudy. Some of the dogs have like grayish backgrounds, and that's also what I kind of ignored and kind of left till the end, as well as the white border. But Alejandro also has several pieces off to the side that look completed. We can't see until he kind of shifts them over. But yeah, a very different posture for speed puzzling from Alejandro.
Yeah, I don't know about toe touches in the middle of puzzling. I've seen on puzzle Instagram some people doing like planks while they're puzzling, or trying to do a 100-piece puzzle in like push-up position. But doing toe touches the whole time is on 1,000 is a new level of intensity. One thing that I think is fun to point out about Victor and Alejandro's setup here is that Alejandro has his pieces a little more spread out, or at least it appears to be. And Victor's very used to working on a very small table. So whenever the pieces are all much closer together, it can sometimes be a little harder to see the difference between where one piece starts and one piece ends. But because they are all closer, it saves that little bit of extra time in trying to get to them. Right? If you think about an extra 1 second for every piece after that 500 piece mark, that's an extra 500 seconds that Victor might be saving here if he's making up that time and being able to see a difference between things. But Alejandro is absolutely flying here, and his ability to pick out exactly what he wants and build that rapidly is amazing. He doesn't make a lot of missteps. So whenever he picks up a chunk of pieces, they're going in. Like that's just what happens. It's absolutely magical. Chiara doing a really good job here. You can see that she's also using that sorting tray, and this is where that trade-off starts coming in of extra touches, because yes, using the sorting tray gives you separation in order to see, but you're also touching some of those pieces in extra time whenever you put them on the tray and then take them back off. So every move that you make in the 1,000-piece puzzle is a trade-off of some kind. Is this going to be the thing that goes in right away? Is this a thing where I'm adding an extra touch, but I'm saving time later? Some puzzlers aren't always doing those mental gymnastics every step of the way, but you have to keep moving the whole time. You can see Alejandro and Victor's hands just rapidly flying around the table. Hannah also doing a really good job. You see that she just got a burst of speed, switching from one cell to the next, and is making some really good progress. And of course, as soon as I say that, everybody knows once the camera's on you, your speeding goes down by 5% because somebody says your name. I'm joking a little bit.
Sorry, Jim, I just need to just jump in for a moment.
Yeah.
Laura Biro, could you please angle your camera down? We can't see the pieces. We can't see your puzzle. Yeah, a bit further down. Okay, yep, thank you. And Elodie and Daria, we haven't been able to watch you. Your cameras are still off. I guess they have their headphones on and can't hear us. That's a shame. Okay.
Well, yeah. I don't blame them. I can be a little noisy sometimes. So. Well, that's actually. Oh, go ahead.
Elodie says it's on. I'm going to check now. Let's see. No, we can't see you, Elodie. Sorry, Elodie, both screens are off, both devices. Okay. So I want to check in on Francisca. She had the other strategy of pulling pieces out of the box. So yeah, I can't see if she stayed with that strategy or if she did end up yeah, pulling the pieces out onto the table. But yeah, it's really nice to see, just scanning the images, just seeing all these yeah, dog squares coming together.
Yeah. Yeah, go Francisca. That's really cool. And it looks like she also decided to go for the border here and has and it almost has that complete, which is really impressive. Yeah, because that'll be 126 pieces or so once that's built out. Very, very well done.
Yeah, so we've just crossed the 1 hour mark. So yeah, amazing progress. 1 hour 17 from some of the guesses in the chat doesn't look too unrealistic at this point.
Nope. That's looking pretty good right now. It's really exciting. And Kyle, I don't know if you've seen if you've done a back check on Kyle Kosin in a while. There's a lot of folks from Twitch. I just love puzzles. Is Gma Grandma Puzzles? She is a wonderful human being. Highly recommend everybody go say hi to her. She's just absolutely lovely. Kyle doing a really solid job here. And he's he might be in that top 10 line. It looks a little chaotic, but he's making a lot of good work. He just made a pretty decent join there. And Anime is flying. You can see that line of dogs across the middle coming in handy. And this is where having those joins already made, if there's a bump on any part of the puzzle, the whole thing can shift together rather than starting to become more and more misaligned. The earlier you can make those big joins, the better life is going to be for you. Alejandro here is probably one of the cleaner cut puzzles out of people that are here. Those are mostly complete. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like I'm going to go out on a limb and say 10, 11 completed cells. Him and Victor are pretty close here. I think Alejandro has the edge because there's not quite as many empty spots in some of his. But Victor has a wildly fast close, especially whenever it comes into pieces that are mostly just straight shape in towards the end. And I think he also has a lot of the border complete. And Alejandro, oh no, sorry. Victor still has a lot of his edge left out. And there's 1, 2 cells that he needs to complete here. It's going to be pretty tight. Lenka making some really good progress here, but I think she might be falling behind Alejandro by just a few hairs. It's really going to come down to how much did that border help make sure that she can get pieces in. And Hana has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cells plus the full border. And she is flying trying to get some of these reds in. You can see that she picked up a little bit of speed here. Every so often, just getting that energy boost to know that you're coming into the close, especially in a 1,000-piece puzzle, really helps you stay on pace. Coming up after the hour mark, Lenka's back has got to be dying. She's been standing this whole time. It looks like she has a little bit of a raised table, so it's going to be a little bit easier on her. But still, that's a long time to be standing bent over something. And if you don't believe me, go to any exercise class for a while and talk to your instructor. That's going to be a long stretch. Tamara is doing excellent here. There's a lot of shout outs for Catherine. So people are rooting for everybody. Kati doing excellent here. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 total in there. but she's flying through. You can see that she picks pieces up with both of her hands and rotates them. Like right here, you can see she's going left hand or right hand. Gets a group of them and feeds it into her left hand, drops a couple, and then repicks them back up to move around. In these 1,000-piece puzzles, every time you drop and pick back up, that's adding time onto the clock. But Kati is so fast and accurate once she decides where that's going to go that it can make that time up pretty rapidly. Alejandro is doing really well here. Lenka hitting a little bit of a slowdown as we come into those middle islands. It looks like it's the Wolfley, Kandinsky, and the Paul Klee. Those are that orange background that might be giving her a little bit of a trouble. And that Wolfley Kingsley, that has that off gray, and there is a lot of it. So it's going to be a straight, it's going to be just a straight shape work in order to get that cell in. And a lot of the other puzzlers don't have it. And I think Victor is Victor and Tamar are the ones that have the most of that particular cell worked out. Hana's done a great job. And you can see that by working on that one from the inside out, because it's the most distinct in the middle, rather than trying to do the outside in, has given them a little bit more wiggle room in order to stay ahead here.
Yeah, so I've just updated the screen. I've just added Inga, and Inga has done pretty much all but one of her dogs and basically has the border and the white pieces left. So you can see a really huge section there. Kati just recently attached her pieces together. She's also got one dog left and the white pieces. So yeah, this is going really fast. We're at 1 hour and 9 minutes.
We're at 1 hour 9, and this is really, really phenomenal. Yeah, for those of you watching, I know that we have a little bit of glare on our screen to see Inga, but she is absolutely cruising here. And it's really neat that she didn't even complete some of those side cells where she could have gone into those border pieces and pulled out those ones to try to fill out the rest of what's there. She decided to say, no, I'll deal with the border whenever I get to it. Everything else is more important. And she is just going to be able to go around and zipper that border in really, really rapidly once she gets to that stage, because everything else is built out, and she's going to be able to use the color and the shape of that border in order to knock it in. Really, really well done. Victor hitting a little bit of a speed bump here in the late mid game. But if he can get to the point where it's a handful of just a few handful of pieces that need filling in spots, he can make some really good catch up. Hana also doing a great job. You can see that she's working on that middle orange dog, that Paul Klee, and that's going to be one of the tricky ones for a lot of folks. I know Alejandro has it down, but because of the weird shading on that, if you're not using the image itself, using what's on the box to know where the lines are, that can throw some people off a little bit. Really, really like Hana's setup here. Kati is doing excellent. Inga's flying. This is going to be a really close one coming into the end. And we're at 1 hour 11. So the fact that people are able to stay this focused for this long, if you're watching or if you're listening or if you haven't done a 1,000-piece puzzle before, I want you to think about when was the last time you stayed hyper focused for longer than 1 hour without checking your phone, right? Without any other distraction going on. It seems like a little thing, but staying this focused and moving this fast the entire time is absolutely phenomenal. And Alejandro just made a big shift to lock in several cells there. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He has 2 cells left, and then the remaining of the border. It looks like Victor has a cell and a half or so that's kind of split between some of the things that are in the middle and then the rest of the border. Inga has about a cell in the border. This is going to come down to who can stay the most focused the longest and treat these last couple of steps like it is a true sprint. And I think that's one of the other differences between smaller piece counts and larger piece counts is that on the smaller piece counts, while there are stages to getting your puzzle done, they clump together quite a bit more, especially in like a 100 or a 300. But as you get to the 500 and the 1000, knowing when to shift gears out of the late mid game of I still need to work on groups or I need to get this handful in to, hey, we're in the close, anything I touch has got to go in, is really, really intense. Kati has made huge progress here. You can see that she has one cell that needs to get filled in, and then there's a lot of lower border, but she might be ahead here, coming into the wrap up. Michelle, are you catching that, or am I bananas?
Yeah, so on screen I've got Hannah, Victor, Alejandro, Kati, Inga, and Chiara. From my perspective, Kati is ahead. She's done most of the boxes and yeah, filling in, well, got one dog left, although Victor also has one dog left and Alejandro as well. Maybe it's just that we have a better angle from Kati's view, but we can just see these single white pieces just to pop in and fill in there. But yeah, it's really, really close, whereas Inga could be, yeah, she also has very few gaps. There's a lot of glare on hers, but the gaps are getting really small, so not as large as a full dog. And the border, it could be Inga or Kati.
It's gonna be close no matter what happens. Hannah just put a whole bunch of pieces onto the sorting tray, and you can see that since she's put the on the middle of the puzzle, she's able to distribute those pieces very quickly rather than going from the left side to the right side or making a huge travel. She's making them much closer and easier to grab, so she might be able to catch up here if she can distinguish the shapes and the colors a little bit more. She might be able to make a little bit of progress here. Kati, I think she gets the sense that Hannah and Inga are close on her heels, trying to pick up the pace. You can see that she's rotating both pieces in her hands very, very quickly here in order to try to get it in. Being able to puzzle two-handed is very difficult tactic, especially whenever you're adrenalized and trying to go as quickly as you can. Victor, you can see that he has one big cell that needs to be filled in, and then a couple of gaps. I'm not sure he's going to be able to catch up to Kati at this point, but he can put on the gas here. Inga has that full border that's still left to do, and I think Kati is down to maybe about 50 pieces. She may be able to pull this out. Hannah making excellent progress here. She has gaps all over the place. I don't know if that sorting tray is really organized, but because it's close to her, she might be able to jump around. You can see Kati having to go from left to right and sort of taking that extra travel time. Even though Hannah is behind in total pieces, it's going to be pretty close here. Kati finishing up what's left of the white pieces before even trying to dive in on that on that black shaggy dog. And now she's done with the white pieces and she's going up to the black. It may be only about 40, maybe 50 pieces or so that she has remaining. And Kati is really excellent at being able to discern the angle of some of this fur and get it in rapidly. You can see she's already locked in one piece and is cruising along. I think she's going to be able to lock up first place here just based on the pace alone. We can see that Victor and Alejandro are making excellent progress. Alejandro is sweeping those pieces down to finish that last cell in the lower right-hand side, and then he's going to go for the border. Victor trying to iron out some of those other missing gaps before he finishes up his remaining cell, the Barksy in that upper left, and then he has more border to finish. Hannah feeling the heat from some of the other competitors, but I think Kati is pulling well ahead here, and is going to lock up first place.
Well, Kati's does less than 10 pieces, Hannah about 15 pieces, so really close here.
Yeah. It's gonna be really tight. But I think because Kati has that tight grouping of pieces that she can directionalize really easily, I think she's going to be able to walk away with this. She's doing left hand, right hand, switching back and forth. getting them in 1, 2, coming up on an hour 17. Who is somebody going to be dead on with the time? Tati, hit the timer. Hit the
Done.
timer.
1:17:28 seconds. And Hannah.
And Hannah right behind. Congratulations, Hannah.
So close. Wow. That was incredible. Like, I don't know what, 5 seconds difference or 10? Wow. Well done, Kati and Hannah. That was incredible.
That was absolutely amazing. Congratulations to both of you. That was a barn burner.
Oh, wow. So, is that the fastest time ever for a 1,000 piece puzzle? I would love to know.
I don't think it's the fastest time ever for a 1,000 piece, but it certainly is up there. I think if I remember right, one of the Cloudberry waves is really smart. Also, SJ, very, very, very close to having the exact time of the finishers. We'll have to check the official time recording to see if you were dead on or not. But bonus cookie points for you, because that's a phenomenal guess. But congratulations to Kati and Hannah. The top 5 is still up for grabs here. As we come in, as we continue on here, I'm trying to fix up my screen a little bit so I can so I can keep an eye on people. But
Yeah,
very well done.
I've just checked the times. So there was 8 seconds between Kati and Hannah. Incredible.
Oof. That's absolutely phenomenal.
And it was sometime in the 1 hour 17-ish. I don't know what time we started, but it's, yeah, incredible that after 1,000 pieces, they were only 8 seconds apart. But third place is up for grabs. So who is it going to be? Alejandro or Victor?
Yeah.
Kiara?
And that 8-second difference, that could come down to just having an unlucky flip where there's a few more pieces face down than face up, right? A whole bunch of things can happen that make that difference. But now we are coming into the last little sprint here for our top 5. You can see Alejandro finishing up that cell. Inga might be able to burst ahead here. Along with Victor. Victor has his almost the full board completed and about a cell. Alejandro still needs to do that border. We're going to see if he can get those colors to match very quickly, but Inga has a head start on that border. She might be able to take Alejandro here and come into third. It's going to be a game of who can keep their hands moving the fastest. Inga can smell the end is near. You can see that sudden burst of energy that she has, and she is moving very rapidly to get those in. Alejandro might be slowing down here a little bit. That fatigue starting to set in after an hour and 20 minutes of puzzling. He might be slowing down and sort of getting into that more mellow wrap-up pace. But Inga is accelerating here. She only has that bottom border and maybe about a handful that are built around in other places. Victor rapidly moving his hands, trying to finish that remaining cell after getting a lot of his border knocked out. Inga using both hands, you can see that she slid her pile underneath of the puzzle, so that way they're a little bit closer to where they're going to end up. That's always a great move, so that way you're limiting the amount of shifting back and forth that you have to do. Doing a quick check-in, Lenka starting work on that black shaggy dog. Kyle's doing excellent, but this is really Inga's acceleration into the third place slot. That's kind of the news here. Victor very quickly getting that cell together. It looks like he's also bouncing between a couple of the border pieces, but that Banksy is pretty tricky with those gray and black backgrounds. It's him and Inga coming into third as Alejandro slides into fourth place. Inga only has those bottom edges to go. She's very quickly rotating in her hands, feeding into her right hand in order to get it. Has 4 pieces left, 2, 3, counting it down. Victor trying to get as many pieces in as he can, trying to see if he can lock up that 5th place, but I think Inga's going to have him on this one. And Inga slides into 3rd place. Congratulations, Inga. Very, very well done. That was a phenomenal finish. Really, really well done. And you can see the pace starting to wear down. Kiara coming into her close as well. I think Victor is ahead enough that he's going to be able to have 4th place. Tamar also making excellent progress, is about a cell and a border behind to finish up. But it's looking like Kiara and Victor are pretty close to each other, but Victor may have the edge. It's a little hard to tell if there's extra pieces floating around somewhere. But this is a really exciting finish to this part of the competition to round out our top 5. We're going to see who can get into 4th and 5th place here. Anime making excellent progress. Victor rotating the pieces in his hands very rapidly. You can see that he tests things really quickly. He doesn't just pull the piece back if he's wrong. Mentally he's going, if it's not here, it has to be in this other spot, and just moves his hands really, really quickly in order to get there. There's not a lot of downtime between thinking and moving, which, especially this late in a puzzle, is really, really helpful. You can see that there's maybe about 8 pieces remaining in the middle of that dark blue. And I think he's going to be able to lock up our 4th place slot here.
So Victor's just finished 1 minute behind Inga, and Inga was 5 minutes behind Kati and Hannah.
Congratulations, Victor. Very, very well done.
So
absolutely fantastic.
Alejandro just only the white pieces on the border left. Kiara one dog left, and Tamar coming up closely behind.
Yeah, this is going to be really exciting to see who can get that edge coming into the final close. Are we going to see an upset between Kiara and Alejandro? I think Alejandro may have the edge here because he only has those edge pieces. Kiara falling behind a little bit. You can see Alejandro working through those edges left, right, starting to grind them down. Kiara a little too far behind in that last cell. Those grays catching up to her, but Alejandro is so quick overall that I think a lot of the work that he did early on paid off, and he claims 5th place for himself. Congratulations, Alejandro! Very, very well done. On your first 1,000-piece puzzle competition that I know of, that's for the solo. Or sorry, 4th place, right?
Yeah. So sorry, hang
there
on.
We go.
Sorry, Inga was 3rd, Victor is 4th, Alejandro was 5th.
We go.
Sorry, apologies.
Okay.
So still on the place for
Congratulations,
top
Alejandro.
6. Looks like Kiara has it in the bag.
Yeah, we're gonna start seeing a little bit of time separation here as we move on. But that was really, really phenomenal by everybody that was able to knock this out in under an hour and 25 minutes. Can we talk for a second about how under an hour and 25 minutes to do a 1,000-piece puzzle? That is absolutely amazing. The amount of focus and adrenaline that people have to fight through in order to get this is just bananas, and really, really amazing to watch. You could see Kiara fighting the slog, trying to get those last couple of pieces in. She's down to about 3 or 4. You can see him off to the side. 1, come on, sink it. It's the last little bit. Let's go. Get it done. And you can see Lenka not too far behind here either with the edges. But I think Kiara is going to be able to clean this up very handedly. This is absolutely phenomenal to have so many of the top puzzlers in the world here in the EJJ, but also showing how quickly some of these puzzles can be done. It's really, really great to watch, and I highly recommend everybody go back and take a look at people's hands. And Kiara hits the done. There we go. Gets it in. And congratulations on 6th place in a really phenomenal time of an hour and about an hour and 27 or so. Very, very well done, Kiara. Congratulations. That was a bruiser. I hope everybody once you finish, you shake your back out a little bit. Give yourself a little bit of breathing room to get back into the groove of things.
Yeah, so in the next group of finishers, we have Tamar, Anami, Saka, Veronica, and Kyle. also on his way, a little bit further behind.
Lenka is down to about 8 pieces or so as well here. She's coming into the wrap up. Tamar's super organized, and Lenka is running. She has like 1 piece, hits the done. Congratulations, Lenka. Very, very well done. That was a great finish, and that was just over an hour 27. This is really, really phenomenal stuff. And you can see that Tamara and Kyle are jockeying to see who can get into that top 10 slot. Anime doing a fantastic job as well. Really having this many people finish in under 2 hours is wild. I way underestimated, because I think earlier on I said, oh, we'll have the top 5 under an hour 45. I wasn't wrong, but I could have been a little more aggressive and said under an hour 30. Let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so just in
Tamara's doing
comparison,
excellent. Sarka. Yeah.
just in
Oh, go
comparison
ahead.
with the Sunshine Puzzle, the fastest times were 1 hour 19 minutes. So here we were about 2 minutes faster. And here we have had 5, 6, 7 finishes at 1 hour 28. Yeah, so also very similar. But yeah, and the thing is, we have a lot of people just that I have to put on the screen very quickly after this, because there's another wave of finishes coming. So we're going to have a lot of people with really fast times. I think people might get some personal bests with this one. And I'd really love to hear people's comments when they've finished, what they thought of the puzzle, and if this was their personal best. But yeah, the range of Happily puzzles, they have a lot of really good puzzles for speed puzzling. As I said, they've all got nice bordered sections. A lot of there's also a very similar puzzle to this one here, but with cats instead of dogs. And yeah, just various objects and items. Really fun, really colourful. And Tamar comes in with just the last 5 pieces with the Matisse, that dark blue one. And we can see a lot of people have left that to the end. Well done, Tamar.
Hey, congrats.
You can also see the hole in Kyle's puzzle that he's got the Matisse left for the last.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Matisse one, it's either a case of you see it real early and it's straightforward to knock out, or it's going to be one of the last things that you're going to play with. But Sarka is looking very strong here. Has, I think it looks like, mostly border and the rest of the Matisse to do. Kyle making excellent progress. It's always difficult once you hit the hour and 30 mark to keep that physical speed going as quickly as you want. But you can see that he's still being very precise. If he picks up a piece, he knows where it's going. So he's making really good progress. And Anime, you can see that she is flying here, coming into the end. That second wind of knowing that you're so close to the end, she is moving very quickly back and forth, trying to get those last couple of handfuls of pieces in. It looks like she only has the border remaining. I think her and Sarka, I think she might be ahead of Sarka at this point. Yeah. And who else is on the screen there in the upper right? It's
Veronica.
Veronica is doing really excellent there. And Elodie is close. This is going to be a really tight race coming into our top 10.
So Elodie's camera was on, and I saw it for a brief moment before it froze. But she has also done most of the puzzle as well. So she's also just nearing and got most of the white left to do. We have a lot of people coming up close to the end. So I think we're going to have so many finishes under 2 hours. Just as a comparison, we had 27 finishes under an hour with the Sunshine puzzle. We're only at 1 hour and 31 minutes, and we have a huge wave of people to come.
Yeah. Veronica's down to those last couple of pieces. And she wraps it up. Congratulations. And Tamar, just ahead, Very, very well done. Veronica wraps up our ninth place slot. Congratulations. And I think it's now down to Anime and Sarka, unless Elodie's camera starts working here. But I think Anime may have the edge here. Not quite as many pieces remaining. Sarka seems to be flipping the pieces in her hands, but doesn't quite have the same physical speed that Anime does coming into this last little bit here. Anime, you can see how excited she is. She's very quickly moving back and forth. She could smell the end of this puzzle in sight and is moving. 1, 2, count them down. She's smiling. She's like, I can do it. I can knock this out in under an hour 33. I can make it happen. And Daria sneaks in under the radar just ahead of Anime. Anime, where's the good? Just got to hit the go button. Got to make it happen. There it is. Congratulations. Very well done, Anime. That was a great close.
Daria, your camera has been off the whole time. Can you please take a photo? Can you please check your camera, please, Daria? We haven't seen anything.
I think Sarka is coming into a close here as well. This is very well done, and wildly exciting to see so many people wanting to do a 1,000-piece solo in the EJJ. I know that for a lot of people, doing a 1,000-piece puzzle is usually like the for fun space, right? Where you put the puzzle down, you take a lot of extra time. The fact that people are speeding 1,000-piece puzzles and getting them done in ridiculously fast times just shows you how much the speed puzzling world has affected puzzling overall. Because not too long ago, people would have thought trying to speed puzzle 1,000 pieces is wild as a soloist, and yet here we are getting times now that are close to the pairs times from Worlds a few years ago, which is really impressive. And yes, those are different puzzles and there's difficulty spikes and all that kind of thing. But the fact that just getting that many pieces done in a similar amount of time as pairs from Worlds is truly phenomenal.
Okay. Sorry, I had some issues with cameras there. So unfortunately, Daria, I couldn't see anything. If you have a photo with your timer, please send that to us. All right, so on screen right now, we have Kyle, Inka, Similia B, and Vicky. And yeah, Kati, if you are there, you can turn your camera on and...
Hi.
Hi, Kati.
Hi, nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you. Wow, that was an amazing run there, race with Hannah. Were you
Thank you.
aware
Yeah.
that you were like just seconds away from her? Yeah. So tell us about the puzzle today. How did you approach this one?
I love the puzzle. It's a really fun image. Like, it's exactly my type of image, like very distinct sections. Like, it's 15 mini puzzles and you could really sort them very well because they are very distinct. Yeah, and that's how I did it. Like, I tried to sort out the pieces for each mini image and then assembled it and then moved on to the next image. Yes, and I started with a Bauhaus dog, like the one on the, like this one, and the dotted yellow one. Yes, and I had a bigger, I had a extension for my table. I don't know if you could see it. I probably only had the assembling area on the screen, but I had a different tray with the pieces.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I was. I know that some people love trays, some people don't love trays. Is it different using the trays for 1,000-piece versus 500s or some of those other piece sizes?
So I didn't use the tray in like the traditional sense, but just to extend my table because it's too tiny and I couldn't have all of the pieces on my table. So I needed the tray to like see the pieces. But I would have also preferred having a tiny tray, like maybe only this size, to move some pieces around, because like for 1,000-piece puzzle, you really have to move from one side to the other side of the puzzle. And then it's really helpful to have a tray where you can drop some pieces and then bring the tray with you to not have to go from the assembling area to the piece area again. But this may also just be because I have this separated so clearly that on the right side, the pieces, like I have the pieces on the right side and the rest on the left side. So yes, but I would have preferred having a tiny tray, which I didn't have. But in to answer your question, for 500 pieces, I'd never use trays because
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and Andrea Pang calls the tiny tray the emotional support tray, which is really great. What drew your eye to that blocky dog early on?
I decided to start with the yellow dotted one, like this one down here, and then
okay,
I saw the yellow color from the blocky one as well, and then I decided I could also just dot both of them at a time, and then it was pretty easy to see for me. So yeah, but I was missing a bunch of pieces, so I continued with something else and still had pieces for the blocky one left in the last let's say 100 pieces.
What was the most difficult part of doing this particular puzzle?
Well, I think for me the most difficult dog was this one up here. That's why I left it for last. You can see the pieces very well, like they're very sortable, but you can't really assemble it. So I think maybe halfway through the puzzle, I saw the pieces for this dog and started to sort them out, but then I decided, no, this will take too long. This will like just slow me down. So I abandoned them. And then in the end, when I did it, I even shape sorted it because it's not many pieces. So I felt like it was very worth it. Yeah, I think that was, for me personally, the most difficult part. And all of the others were pretty easy. And also, you might think that there's a lot of white or that the writings are kind of hard, but you can always see, or there are always tiny colors on the edges of the pieces. So that was pretty doable as well.
Oh, it's really great whenever there's not just a ton of flat color that's indistinguishable. The fact that it's cut on the pieces where you can see that is really handy. That's cool. When you know that there's a slowdown coming, like if you're working on a section and you're like, okay, this isn't going fast enough, how do you know to switch to move to something else? Or do you just plow through it, or is it different? Do you use a different strategy whenever you feel a slowdown for the different piece sizes?
I think it depends on the rest of the image. Like if the whole image is very hard and I'm not expecting to accelerate when switching, then I will just stick with the area I'm working on because I don't think it's worth it switching then. But for this kind of image where you can really move on to something totally different, which will go easy as well, I definitely would switch whenever I feel like I don't feel like I'm going fast, or like if I'm starting to think that I'm not fast enough, then it's already a sign that I should switch. Because if I'm fast, I don't think at all. So as soon as I'm starting to think about it, for easy images, it is the sign that I should switch. But to be honest, I don't quite remember if I did. maybe you've seen it on the screen, but
yeah.
I do remember that I sorted out the Van Gogh dog and didn't assemble it for quite a while. I instead filled in the rest of the orange pieces and like other tiny like edges on pieces that I could see where they belong to, of images that I've already done. So that was kind of like a feeling I didn't really want to assemble that Van Gogh dog because I don't know, it looked hard, which it wasn't, but I don't know. And that's why I just instinctively kept on doing other things. Yeah.
I think I think it's good for a lot of people to know and get the sense of, just because you sorted it doesn't mean you have to work on it
Yes.
immediately. You can always come back to it a little later.
Mhm. For this thing, it's important to not have the pieces in the way, though, because that was a mistake that Kara and I did in the pairs final at Worlds. I think we've told that before, but the dome, we sorted it out, like it was the first thing we sorted out, and it was actually one of the last things that we assembled, and it was in the way all the time. So if you do that, you should be aware that the pieces shouldn't be in the way. Like, for example, with the dog up here, I just put the pieces on the very top of my table where they wouldn't bother me at all, above the outer edge. So they were out of my sight and brain and whatever. So that worked very well. But if I had it like in place, it might have distracted me or kept me from connecting the other squares. So yeah, you don't have to assemble it right away when sorted, but you should be wary that it doesn't like lay around and distract you.
No, it's really neat. How does that just because I'm wildly curious, on a 1,000-piece puzzle, whenever you go to sort, there can be a lot of distinction between a very specific line, you know, where like on this, there's maybe about there might be about 10 pieces or so that can distinguish the outer line versus the inner line.
Yeah.
If this were a 300-piece puzzle, that may only be like 2 or 3 pieces. Do you still go for those 2 or 3 pieces, or do you try to get a bigger chunk overall whenever you're working on that smaller piece size?
Yeah.
Like where does that shift happen?
For me personally, I wouldn't even go for the line of 10 or 15 pieces here. I only did that for this dog here because I saw this red, white edge in the very beginning. It was only like 10 pieces, and I just saw it because they were naturally laying together, so I sorted them out. But usually I wouldn't go for particularly, say, this line here. I would always search the whole image or bigger sections, but that is, I think, my type of puzzling, that I always like to have bigger piles of pieces for the things that I want to assemble. But when I have this, let's say, this dog here, and I have sorted all of the pieces for this one, I would start to assemble with a white line. So then I would do a mini sorting again, sometimes only in my head, sometimes actually on the table, to then do the tinier piece count things.
So when you're going through things, do you think about how many pieces you're picking up in one go?
No. I think about, does it feel like it's a section big enough to actually be able spotting the pieces in the big pile? Or is it too big and too difficult, and then I would not sort it? So it has to be like in the middle of both ends. But it's more of a feeling that I just follow and not thinking about, okay, this is going to be 50 pieces exactly, I will sort them, or there's no no border where I would say after above 50 pieces I wouldn't go for them.
Yeah, I was about to say, because on like 100-piece puzzle, that's half the puzzle in one shot, right? Oh man, tell us a little bit about how do you stay focused for a whole hour and change, trying to get these done?
Good question. For this one, I was really focused. I'm surprised by myself because I didn't even sit down. Like I was standing throughout the whole puzzle, and I was expecting to sit down. But I was so in the zone that I didn't even feel the need to. So yeah, I think one aspect is that the puzzle suits me. Like if I don't feel like I'm slowing down or starting to think if I'm too slow or something, like if the mentals are really peak, then I'm also focused. But as soon as I'm starting to like doubt myself or think about the puzzle a lot or feeling that I'm going slow and that it's not working super well, then it's also harder to stay focused. I think that's more of a mental tip than like actually puzzling tip, but it helps me to tell myself about the achievements I had in puzzling before I start like a competition and try to focus on the positive things and the skills I have and not thinking about, ooh, who else is in this competition who might beat me or who could be slower on this, faster on this particular part. Like just, I try to focus on the things that I know that I am capable of. So, yeah.
I love that, and I think that's huge, especially for a lot of people that are going into competitions, is that it's real easy to focus on or start thinking about all of these other external things
Mhm.
that you have no control over, right? Like
Mhm.
it's not like a lot of other sports where you can interact with another player, right? In this, it's you and the clock and the puzzle,
Yes.
and maybe your partner. So I really like that your idea is to just focus on what you're good at. It talk about, you know, really hype yourself up
Mm.
rather than worry about how other people are going to affect you. That's really cool. When you're thinking about focus for long periods of time, how is it how does that shift doing like a singular 1,000-piece puzzle versus doing the epic 24-hour puzzle marathon on an all-star team of puzzlers?
Mhm.
How,
That
like
was it,
what's different there?
first of all, it was amazing. I loved everything about it. It was great. I will be there next year again. It was amazing. The focus, I think, in general, like these marathon competitions are different from sprint competitions because it's a bit, there's music in the background. There are many more teams that are not taking it too serious, and it's all more about the fun part. So the focus in general isn't as high as in a sprint competition where it's just everyone against everyone and we are all super focused and want to like be fast as we can. And sure, we wanted to be as fast as we can as well, but we also wanted to like have a good time and have fun. And also there wasn't a lot of pressure because we knew we didn't have like the biggest competition, right? Because we were very
You
fun
were
team.
all the big competition, right? Who
So
all was on that team?
it was Hannah, Kiara, Victor, Andrea, Tobias, and Karen.
And then you. Yeah,
Yes.
that's yeah. It's kind of hard to get any competition when you guys are all each other's competition usually.
Yeah, that's true. So we went in the competition with a totally different feeling. It was just us against the time and wanting to reach our goal of a certain amount of pieces or puzzles that we would want to complete. So the focus wasn't dragged down by mental doubts, at least for me. So on that aspect, it was easier to stay focused, I guess. But on the other hand, obviously, it's like 24 hours, and at some point you do get tired, or your thoughts are somewhere else than with the puzzle. And especially when you get a very hard image in the middle of the night, and you return from like I was in bed, and then I came back to the table, and I was really motivated, and I thought, yes, let's go. I want to puzzle now. And then I see my teammates, all of them, oh, super sad, sitting at the table doing a tiger puzzle. I yeah, then the focus wasn't there from the beginning because they also told me, yeah, we're sitting here for 2 hours and it doesn't go and it's just super hard. And like, if you come to the table like that, it's hard to even get in the energy of speed puzzling. Mm. But yeah, it was still a lot of fun, and I think for such a marathon competition, it's more like endurance and just having fun, which is the most important part, because you can force yourself doing a puzzle that you don't like for an hour or let's say 90 minutes. But if you have to force yourself for 10 or 12 hours, it won't work. So I think you don't need that high focus, but you need the fun aspect.
Yeah, I tell puzzlers a lot that, you know, if you're in a competition, whatever comes out of the bag, that is just your favorite puzzle for the next, you know, until you're done, right?
Yeah.
Like at most you're lying to yourself for an hour and a half, and then after that you can hate the puzzle forever.
Yeah.
But for that little bit of time, just the positivity goes such a long way, which is really great. How do whenever you jump from like section to section, you were mentioning feeling an acceleration, or like you knew you could accelerate through things. What is that feeling like, and is it different if you do it on a 500 versus 1,000, or is the exact same, just more pieces?
I think it's the exact same. Like, if we assume that this was a 500 piece puzzle, it probably would feel the exact same way. Yeah, if it's just these sections, it's perfect for me. I don't know.
Have you ever done the same? Because I know there's a lot of brands where they have the 1,000-piece version and then they have the 500-piece version that's the same image. Have you ever done that kind of
No.
comparison before?
No, I've never done that, but that would be interesting.
It'd be fun to check out, just to
sure.
see if it actually feels different or not. That'd be cool.
True.
Do you do a lot of solo big piece count speed puzzling?
No, not at all. I think I've only done 2, and with this one, 3 speed puzzles on 1,000 pieces.
You do not.
Yes. I don't know. I didn't expect it to be very different, so I didn't feel like I would need to practice that in particular. And also, it's not relevant for the major in-person competitions, so I just never thought about training 1,000-piece puzzles. And also, I was trying to save the 1,000-piece puzzles for
Pairs and teams,
calm.
and
Yes, but also for calm puzzling. Like, if I'm coming home after a long day of work, I don't want to speed puzzle. I want to like relax and calm down. But it's hard with 500 pieces. I always automatically get into the mode of speed puzzling. I can't stop that. So 1,000-piece puzzles was always easier to just chill, and like, especially nature puzzles, you just do the sky and everything.
yeah.
You can be a bit slower. It's okay. So I never thought about speed puzzling them. But then I was just interested in how fast I would be on the jungle image from the World's Teams competition, because it was so much fun. And then I wanted to try that just for me. I don't remember the time. It was probably 1 hour and 40 minutes, I guess. And then also from this brand, I participated in the pairs competition with Jana, with the tins.
Yeah, that was a fast one.
I loved that image. It was great. And then I wanted to do that on my own one time to see how fast I could actually be, because I thought, if I can be really fast and at 1,000 pieces, it would be this image. And it was, when I did that, it was super, like, I was in a hurry because I did it on the day when I left for the German national competition. And I had to leave, like, I don't remember the time, but I started the puzzle maybe 1 hour and 15 minutes before I had to leave. And then my alarm rang and
Oh
told me
no.
you should stop now, you should leave. Because I had to pack some things.
Yeah.
But I was so close to finishing that I really wanted to complete the puzzle. And then, like, long story short, I didn't write down my time because I was in a rush so much that I forgot to write down the time. But I remember
Yeah.
it was less than 70 minutes, so it was like maybe 1 hour and 8 minutes or something.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so phenomenal. Well, I'm really glad that you gave this different piece count a shot at speeding, because you clearly have a knack for it. You're one of the best puzzlers in the world. I hope that it doesn't mean that you have to start doing like 3,000 piece puzzles as your relaxed puzzle, and can still find the like calm space to do it just for funsies.
Yeah.
But I just once again, congratulations on a fantastic job today.
Thank you
Really,
very
really
much.
well done.
Thank you very
You're a
much.
phenomenal puzzler. This is great.
Thank you. We have to celebrate. It's my first win in the actual online competition, not the fact
That's
version.
right.
Mhm.
Congratulations!
Yes.
You did the thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well done,
Yes.
Kati. I
Thank
really
you so much.
well deserved. That was so exciting to watch you tonight.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for the interview.
Thank you. Have a nice Sunday.
You too.
You
Bye.
too.
Bye-bye.
Congrats. Go celebrate.
All right, so we are at 1 hour and 58 minutes, and we've had 29 finishes, and we have another few who might make it under the 2-hour mark. Karina just has 1 dog left. Rachel has 1 dog left as well, and yeah, Maya and Stephanie have borders left to go. So yeah, let's see if Hannah is back in. She had to change devices. Yes. Hello.
I'm here.
There you are. Just one moment. Yeah, so yeah, congratulations, second place, just seconds behind Kati.
Thank you.
How did you feel when you saw the image today?
I loved it. It's very nice, and I knew it would be fast. My previous personal record with the 1,000-piece puzzle is also with the Happily one, so, and it was pretty similar, but it had 8 different things, and this had more, so I thought it might be even faster.
Yeah. Which one was your favorite of them? Which ones?
Andy Pohol was my favorite. That's the one I started with. And Fido Kahlo is also very nice. But the one Kati mentioned that was difficult for her, this one, the gray one, I actually did it quite early on because the pieces stood out very well, and then it just somehow went. So
yeah, it's funny. I mean, I saw that as well. As soon as I was doing the flip, I kept finding these pieces and I put them off to the side, but somehow I felt intimidated by it, and I thought I'll get to that later. But when I actually came time to do it, I started with the pieces that had white on them so I could do the border. Then I realized, oh, actually, there's a difference between the gray and the black, and I could do the background. And then even once I had the black scribbly pieces, you have these directions of the fur. So I did it actually faster than expected. And I thought, why did I leave that till the end?
yeah, same experience, but I did it early on. Yeah.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, so how do you approach this differently to a 500-piece puzzle?
Well, not much. I did use some of these. Andrea brought me some emotional support trays from Taco.
Andrea's the best.
Yeah, so I did use some of these towards the end to bring the pieces to the puzzling area. In the end, I just scooped everything and brought it here. So that helped me. I sorted out like four piles in the beginning at the same time, 4 things, and well, sorted more than with the 500 piece. Yes.
Do you, whenever you say that you sorted more than the 500 piece, is that like a conscious decision that you made going in? You were like, okay, bigger piece, gotta sort more? Or was it more of a like a feature of this is what I see, so I'm going to do it?
More of the feature that I see something like these are here, going here and these here. So not really made a conscious decision to sort more.
Yeah, I know that some puzzlers tend to be very analytical, and some puzzlers tend to be very go with the flow and more what they see and feel. Which end of the spectrum do you feel like you sit on?
Go with the flow. I can never tell. I can't give any tips because I don't know what I do. I was speaking with Victor that I'm happy, Victor, that you are giving all the tips because I have nothing to give. I just say do more puzzles. That's the only tip I have because I don't analyze what I do. I just do.
That's really phenomenal that you're able to be as fast as you are without having to think a whole lot. And I guess that sort of speaks to the flow state of just like, I'm just going to go and get pieces in.
Yeah.
Is it, have you done a lot of like 300 piece puzzles or like 100 piece puzzles or anything like that?
No, I have a lot of those 200 and 300 piece puzzles from Ravensburger, but I rarely feel like doing them.
Well, do they feel too easy to you almost?
Yeah, and also I don't like the images that much. I know that time-wise, it might take me like if it doesn't really matter what the image is time-wise, but the feeling I get, I enjoy so much more the images I'm drawn to. So that's also one thing we have been speaking with Victor, because he's like, why do you care if you like the image or not? And I'm like, it's just a different feeling. And then even if it doesn't show in the time, I still feel much better afterwards if I like the image.
Yeah, you'd rather not spend 20 minutes not having fun doing the 300. Yeah. No, I totally get that. Whenever an image that pops out that's not your favorite in a competition, how do you like walk me through your thought process whenever that happens?
Well, I just say to myself that I know how to puzzle. It doesn't matter what the image is. It's just more about the psychological side, about how I set my mind to do it, even if the image is not my favorite. And that's what I have been working on and getting better. Also, I have been trying to do these more difficult puzzles for me, photos, landscapes, stuff like that, which I don't like. And that's why, because I don't know what's the use to do the ones I'm good at, like with illustrations and these English classical images, or why would I do them? Like they have these boxes of 4 Ravensburger 500s that are English countryside or English castles or English something. And I know them. I can do them quite fast. Usually I get less than 40 for the first attempt on those. So why would I do them more? Because I have to do the ones I don't like to get the worst times and be faster at those. So those are the ones I'm practicing.
No, it makes total sense. I tell people all the time that if you're not practicing the things that you struggle with, how are you going to get better at them?
Yeah.
Right. Like it's not a magic trick where suddenly you're just great at it. Like you have to get comfortable doing those things.
Yeah, I would love to do puzzles like this that we had today, like do only these types of puzzles,
Yeah.
but that would not make me faster
great.
in the
Like
end.
well, I mean, on this particular one, you didn't need to be that much faster, right? Like you did excellent. Like it was phenomenal. What do you do? What do you do whenever you feel the slowdown coming on? Like if you're working on a section and it starts getting a little slow, how do you handle that?
I try to leave it and do something faster, and then when I come back to it, it goes better. But sometimes I'm too stubborn and still try to do it, and that slows me down.
Do you feel like being stubborn is part of your flow?
Mm, maybe, but it shouldn't be. I should change to something easier, or also like if it's not easier, but just change the view, change the perspective. So usually it helps with the flow.
No, it's really it's really interesting. Have you done like super large piece size puzzles before, like 2000 or anything?
I have done a 3,000 piece puzzle years ago before I knew about speed puzzling, but no, I'm not into those giant puzzles.
The obvious question is why not?
Well, there are so many other things to spend my time on, and also the smaller piece counts at that moment at least, I find them more fun. But I have not tried a giant puzzle.
It might be fun just to play with to see at some point.
Yeah. I would love to do one of those Colin Thompson ones, like the big piece count Colin Thompson's, like very busy.
You said that with such glee in your voice that I am worried for you. like a mega giant puzzle that's super busy just sounds terrifying to me.
They're doing the 18,000 piece Colin Thompson in the Swedish Nationals at the moment. Like
oh wow!
in a separate room. I wish I was there so I could do that one while the others compete.
You would skip the round entirely just so you could play with that one.
Not really, but yes, it would be fun between the competitions.
Have you I didn't ask this to Kati, but do you think that like solo thousands should start making their way into other competition venues?
Definitely, yes.
Why is that? I'm curious because if you don't really feel that there's a difference between like the 500 or the 1,000, why should they add it? Aside from just more puzzling.
Well, I feel like I get more into the flow with the 1,000 piece one because it takes longer. The 500s might take, but yeah, Michelle has been giving us some challenges lately. We have had many 500 piece puzzles that take an hour. So, but you don't get that flow with those. It's just challenge and struggling, and it's a good learning experience. So I'm also happy that Michelle has been giving these challenges to us. But I feel like it's not a sprint, it's more half marathon, I would say, the 1,000 piece solo. So nice.
Gotcha.
I like it.
Do you what does it feel like whenever you're in the flow state of puzzling?
It feels like flying. It's good. Yeah, and you spoke with Kati about the 24-hour event, and it was amazing. I would like to also say that we got some moments there also that we felt like flying, and it was like 20 hours into the event, and then we just get a puzzle and it's flying, even after the 5 hours, and I think it was 5 hours and 13 minutes we spent with the tiger, wolf, lynx, and 400 I don't remember how much, but there was hundreds of pieces of snow.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we got it at 4 a.m. and finished that after 9 a.m. So.
Oh, that one's the bruiser, yeah.
Yeah, all of the team got to work on it because first when we got it, we were worried that when the others come to join us, they had been on a break, that they would say, why are you so slow? But everyone got their part of that puzzle. So there's no saying that someone was slow because it was just very painful.
It just means that you got to have good teamwork. That's all.
Yeah. And we were the only team to finish that puzzle, and we still had 6 hours of puzzling left after that.
Oh wow. What was it difficult knowing that you were going to be going for that whole time, or I guess let me rephrase that a little bit.
Yeah.
What was more challenging or exciting, the fact that you would be puzzling for 24 hours straight, or the fact that there were going to be so many 1,500 piece puzzles thrown at you?
24 hours was more exciting, but also in that competition we got 4 2,000-piece puzzles. So it was not only 1,000 and 1,500 pieces. So
Okay, yeah.
also we got 4 of those 2,000-piece puzzles, and 3 others took us 1:30 to 1:45, 1:47. And the tiger one took us over 5 hours. So that tells you a lot.
Yeah, that's intense. Where the I know that some of the images on those 2,000 ones were pretty rough, but did it feel, do the 2,000s feel like it's harder to maintain a flow state, or is it easier because once you're in it you can kind of coast for longer?
I learned how to sort a lot.
Little on the job training.
Yeah, because I'm not much of a sorter, but in that 24-hour event, sorting was needed a lot. And also, if you felt lost with the assembly solving part, then you could sort.
No, it's really kind of you. I know you mentioned that you don't have great advice, but that's excellent advice right there. Like if assembly's not working, shift to something that'll help you down the line.
Yeah.
Right?
It's also something that came in handy in the 10-hour marathon. I remember at one point we were all working on this like panoramic puzzle of a mountain with northern lights and snow, and someone just said, I'm just can't find my place right now. And so she said, okay, I'm going to switch to sorting. And or in another puzzle, somebody else says, I'm a bit lost, so it's not working right now. I'm gonna sort them by shape. And just being able to switch to another task and then come back with a fresh perspective always seemed to help. And it's always good to have sorted pieces, but pieces sorted by shape and sorted by color.
Yeah.
How often do you like do that kind of mental reset of, hey, this isn't working, let me pop over here and then come back?
It depends on the puzzle, how much is needed.
Yeah.
Hopefully not at all, but usually some of that is needed.
No, it totally makes sense. Especially for me, those landscapey, photorealistic landscapes are kind of the Achilles heel. And those involve a lot of like, well, I'm going to work on this tree for a little while. Okay, that's not working. Let me pop over here. And that just being willing to flow from, well, this isn't working, let me go somewhere else, as opposed to getting frustrated with it, goes a long way.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like tension between like wanting to flow versus feeling the like I gotta go, like the driver for getting the puzzle done quickly versus, hey, I'm just having a good time and going with how it's going? Like, do you ever feel tension between those?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Slow would be nice, but also finishing the puzzle as fast as possible that's the main goal, right? So yes.
Well, congratulations on getting this puzzle done very
Thanks.
quickly without any tension or anything. That was really fun to watch. And lots of people should watch your puzzling because you are excellent and they can pick up a lot of things from it. It's really wonderful.
Thanks. It was a really good one. Yeah.
I'm glad you really enjoyed it, Hannah. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
You did amazing today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Bye bye.
All right. I just need to mention April Maya. We can't really see your puzzle. April Maya, if you could angle your camera down. Okay. Don't think she can hear us. All right, so we've had 48 finishes, 49 finishes at 2 hours 17. So people are doing amazing. We have a 3.5 hour time limit, and we still have about 35 people still puzzling. Yeah, if you have finished and you'd like to continue listening to the live stream, please hop over to YouTube and leave us a comment. We'd love to know what you thought about it. And that also makes it, helps the virtual assistants in the background to have a better overview of who is still puzzling and who's going to finish soon. So Eva just finished before, and Taya is about to put in one of her last pieces. And yeah, I'd like to invite Kyle to join us at a very unsuitable hour of the day to be doing an interview and a puzzle competition, but why not?
Hello, hello. Good to see you, Jim, Michelle.
Hi, Kyle. Nice to see you. Yeah, so how are you feeling right now?
I am still filled with adrenaline. It's still dying off. You know, some people get into performance mode and, you know, they like when the pressure's on in an actual race. For me, it's a disaster. I get really frantic and I'm still cooling off. My hands are shaky. It was a really enjoyable puzzle, but there are a lot of things I wish I'd done differently on it. A lot of fun though. I'll be doing this one again soon. But yeah, thanks for hosting this, and it's my first one. I'm excited about that. It's been a blast.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So which dogs jumped out at you to start with first, or which colors?
So I started doing Andy Paw Hall up at the top right. Those colors jumped out to me, and then immediately went to the polka dots at the bottom, the Yeda Kusama. Those were the two that stood out. And then I kind of, from there, was puzzling a lot of different things at once, kind of lost my focus, a lot of things jumping out at once. Yeah, those were the two that stood out at first.
No, it was it was fun to see you jump to those first, because a lot of other people either pushed those off for quite a while.
Oh yeah.
or it kind of came up in the mid game. What do you think, like, about those caught your eye in particular?
I think it was the colors popping out. I was trying to do like this abstract, what's it called? Piet Mutrian. Sorry, I don't know how to say them.
Oh, the blocky dog.
The blocky one.
Left.
Yeah, like I thought that one would be easier, but it, rather than patterns jumping out to me, it was more the colors. So I kept being drawn to the bright stuff all throughout. The one on the top left as well. Yeah,
I couldn't imagine somebody being awake at 3 a.m, having bright colors jump out at them. That sounds totally unexpected.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know, I did have a little bit of trouble with false fits, which kind of hurt my strategy. I love to, like, when I see a puzzle like this, when I first open it up, I'm really excited because I love collages. And usually what I try to do is box stuff in. So that's what I was starting with. I actually did start with the edges. I thought it wouldn't be too bad, but then my pieces weren't fitting together right. So it kind of messed up my strategy there. But that was probably just my eyes glazed over from the time of day. Not being able to see the shapes clearly.
Any number of have you done this brand before too?
No, never done happily.
So I mean, that's also a huge thing there, is when you're not familiar with the brand, sometimes just like knowing what the pieces feel like in your hand and how they can gel to avoid those false fits kind of goes a long way. What do you think is more challenging, a different piece size or a different brand to jump in on?
That's a good question. I think a different piece size. I don't know. For me, a big challenge is just space management and piece management. So especially now that U.S. Nationals is coming up, all the Americans are doing Ravensburgers like crazy, which are pretty small pieces. Whenever I try something that's on the bigger side, I have to readjust. I'm not used to it, so it can throw me off when that's the case. I like the piece size on this one though.
Yeah, just getting the uh knowing where to set things goes a long way. Um how do you treat your table set differently if you're doing like a 300 piece puzzle versus a 1,000 piece puzzle? Like, do you sort things differently? Do you try to like put certain groups in different places? Like, what's the process there that's a little different?
Um, I don't know. It's kind of mostly the same. I like to have all of my pieces off to one side rather than, I don't know, some people might try to surround the whole puzzle with pieces. And that goes for 300, a 500, 1,000. It kind of, in that regard, is always the same. I would say when I do a 1,000, I love puzzling off the box. That's one of my strengths, is being able to figure out where a piece is looking
Yeah.
at the image. So with a 1,000 piece puzzle, I am doing that a lot more often. I think I'm focused much more on the box and doing a lot more dead reckoning. Whereas with the 300, where there are, much less options for each piece, I'm more just focused on what I put together so far and building off of that. But yeah, like on this puzzle, you saw I had pieces all over the place, just floating. It was the stuff that stuck out to me the most from the box.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool that while you were puzzling, um, it looked like it appears at first glance to be very chaotic and all over the place. But I've seen you puzzle, and I know that part of what's happening is you're working on a thing, and it's when there's slowdown, you just shift to the next thing to try to keep the momentum going a little bit. Um, do you feel that like slow down to move on to a new thing, does that press a little more strongly at different piece counts, or do you kind of have a set time limit at all of them of like, hey, it's been 15 seconds, I got to move on to something else now?
Um, I don't know. When people ask me for strategy, and I'm talking about people that are just learning about speed puzzling for the first time, what I tell them is just get as many pieces put together as soon as possible. Um, and maybe I should be better about this, but I'm not good at like sticking to a section and finishing it. If I feel any kind of slowdown, I'm like, I've got to look for what's actually the easiest, if there is such a thing elsewhere in the puzzle. So, and yes, it does feel extremely chaotic. And, sometimes in that process, I'm forgetting stuff that I was working on earlier. Like I'll find a piece, I'm like, I don't remember where that stuff was. So, I'm still trying to fine tune it. But on a puzzle like this, it works for me pretty well because, like I said, I am able to put a lot of pieces in their place fairly accurately. So, yeah, that's why a puzzle like this, I think, is great for me.
Yeah, having something that's really collagey, that's not heavily duplicated, lends itself to that kind of, hey, I can just jump, and then if I get a random piece, I have a pretty decent idea of where it's gonna live later.
Yeah.
Which is really neat. I know that your table setup is relatively small. Um, do you uh whenever you're doing your Twitch streams and everything like that, do you try to plan out, is this going to be a big piece size or not, based on your table, or uh do you kind of like just say, well, it is what it is and we got a boogie?
Yeah. A lot of the time I forget to think about it and it catches me off guard. Um, I don't know. It is roughly the size of like what we would see at nationals. So I kind of like keeping that way and just always having that challenge working with a limited space so that I'm always used to it. But yeah, some brands it doesn't work super well for. Yeah.
For those of you who haven't met Kyle before, he is one of the fastest puzzlers around, and his Twitch stream is fantastic, and he's always puzzling on there, which is really great. Kyle, do you ever
Thanks.
feel pressure when you're streaming to like perform or to do a certain amount of puzzles or to like hit certain time markers?
A little bit. So every single time I'm doing a puzzle on stream, I'm timing it. And if I've done it before, trying to beat my personal best. And something I've started doing recently, like the past couple months, is I can have viewers predict. So like I'll set a marker and say like, will I beat my personal best? Or if I haven't done it before, like, will I beat 45 minutes? And so people that are watching, if you don't know how Twitch works, you have channel points that you can spend on different things, but you can bet those points on your prediction. So like people count on me one way or the other. So yeah, that adds a lot of pressure, but I found that it's, even though I still do get very nervous for the in-person races and the actual races, it has helped a little bit. Just not only simulating that adrenaline when I'm practicing and when I'm training, but like getting me used to that for when it really counts for when I am racing.
No, it makes total sense, and I really like that you think of it as a, hey, this is just a way to get comfortable with it. Because I know you've been to Worlds, so you know what that pressure's like. You're gearing up for nationals. Was today like solo 1,000 competitions aren't quite as common in Europe just yet. They're starting to be
Right.
because Michelle's a beast and is awesome and keeps putting these together. But does it feel any different doing this solo 1,000 versus some of like the ones in the US where you really know a lot of those folks that are in those that are in that circuit?
Kind of. We've done so many races, you know, with speedpuzzling.com. We do a lot of the 1,000-piece races, and it's a lot of the same people that are showing up to those races all the time. So you kind of have an idea of, you know, who you're chasing or who you're going to be really close to in the leaderboard. But for me, coming into this race, like, I don't know a lot of people here, so I really had no idea what to expect with this. You know, over in the American races, if you're beating 2 hours on a 1,000 piece, you're probably like top 5 or top 10. And here we had, I don't know, what was it, 30 or so under? Phenomenal. It's just a different playing field. I've done so many races with the American crowd. It was cool to be a part of this for once and finally see how I stack up.
Well, and you did really well here. Like don't let's also remind folks you're at a like jet lagged 3 a.m. time difference.
Right.
So
Yeah,
so
and
maybe
your time was 1 hour and 44 minutes, which is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, and I started at 3 a.m. here, so it's 5:30 now. And I am a night owl, but that takes a toll when you're getting that late. Yeah.
No, like that's really phenomenal, Kyle. You should be thrilled with that.
Oh, thanks.
Because like it's a great time, and also it's a great time considering all the other things. Like I would be barely functional, and you're just like, yeah, we're totally fine here. It's great. Um, do you have a favorite like piece count size that you're really into these days?
I do love 1,000 races. When I'm training and when I'm doing puzzling on my own, I don't hit the 1,000s quite as much just because it's a much bigger commitment, you know, obviously takes a lot more time. And there's parts of it like, gosh, flipping the pieces on a 1,000, it can be a real drag, especially when you're doing, you know, almost nothing but 500s for so long. But in the races, I always place a little higher on the leaderboards with the 1,000s, and I don't really know what that is. Maybe it's because a lot of those puzzles, you know, usually you have to pick a puzzle that is feasible, that is doable for a large crowd of people. So they tend to be on the easier side, a lot of collages, you know, more of my sort of puzzles show up in the 1,000 piece races. But I love them. It's, I like, I don't know, I'm not so good with the sprints. I like being able to puzzle off the box. Like I said, you know, I have the different strategies when I can puzzle off the box. And with a lot of the 1000s, that serves me well. Then I stack up a little better against everyone else.
Well,
Yeah,
just from a perspective of choosing puzzles, there's a lot more 1,000 piece puzzles on the market. So for me, it's a lot easier to choose fun, easy puzzles than there is
Yeah.
with 500 puzzles, because there's all the ones that people have already done. And then of the ones that are left that haven't been like done to death already by like 50 people, yeah, there's just not that many companies producing 500 piece puzzles. And so that's probably one of the reasons why I've had some pretty tough 500 piece puzzles recently. But I feel like with 1,000 piece puzzles, it's like, oh, like I can choose all the fun easy ones.
Yeah.
No, it's really wild how those different picks work out. What were you gonna say, Kyle?
Just I don't know. There's something about the 1000s that I really love those races. Yeah.
Yeah, it totally makes sense that your methodology of really using the box plays out better on a longer time scale. Because a lot of puzzlers that do a lot of table solving or like direct sunbursting, they don't need to check the box all that often, because they'll just be like, hey, this is the cluster that all goes here about, and then they grind through it. But if it starts getting real busy, that particular tactic starts to eat away at itself a little bit, and isn't quite as solid. And especially as you get to large piece counts, you end up over pulling things, or you know, those extra touches work out. So I think it's really neat that your particular methodology also applies to a piece count that you enjoy really well, which is pretty cool to see the Venn diagram of the alignment in that. No, it for somebody who is up at 3 a.m., how do you convince yourself to keep moving fast?
So the music helped a lot. You couldn't see me as I was puzzling, but you know, I've got like the up tempo, you know, the EDM, the rock and roll. That helps me a lot, and that helps me a lot, not just to keep the speed up, but to calm my nerves a little bit. Puts me kind of in a Zen mode. Like, I'm pretty particular about what songs I puzzle to, because I don't want them to be a distraction. You know, I want them to get me in the zone, get me in the Zen puzzling mode. So that was a big part of it. Sometimes I'm just screaming at myself in my own head, like go, go, go. Or you know, focus on this. You got to focus on this, because I'm easily distracted. But honestly, aside from my eyes kind of glazing over a little bit, I mean, I feel it in the eyes. Energy levels are pretty good. I was surprised, so it worked out okay.
That's really excellent. Like again, sort of insider knowledge. Like Kyle's music selection is absolutely amazing. Like he knows everything about every musical genre. It's really impressive. Sorry to keep bragging on you, man. But
You're good.
you're just so cool. I want to grow up
Oh,
and be just
thanks.
like you one day. I know you're prepping for U.S. Nationals in about a month here. Less than a month. Wow, time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
How are you feeling for that? Are you excited? Are you pumped?
I'm nervous. It was what was it now? 2 weeks ago, I think they released the full lists for all the heats, as well as all the team rosters. And so, you know, everyone finally got their look at the competition, and seeing all the names in there, it's like, oh, that person's really fast too. It's like, oh my gosh. You know, we have like a kind of official ranking, a JPAR, that we we like to look at in the USA. And I think at like the top 30 or so, I think like every single one of us is going to be there. It's going to be insane. I'm excited, but you know, that's the bittersweet part about seeing speed puzzling grow so much right now is that, of course, you want to get a lot more people involved and have bigger events, but it's like some of them are really fast. Like, I'm not going to be able to do as well as I did last time. You know, it's harder to keep up with everyone. Everyone's faster than they've ever been, which is exciting, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Well, I think in one of the recent speedpuzzling.com events, there were like 6 or 7 finishers all within a minute of each other, and they're all the like top high level puzzlers. So it's gonna be really tight everywhere. But I'm excited for you. I think you're gonna do really, really well, man.
Well, thanks.
Which is excellent. Like, what are you doing to like help your nerves going into something like that?
Just trying to replicate it like on stream when I'm training, like I was saying, like, you know, one of the things you usually try to do when you're streaming on Twitch is to keep up with the chat. But with nationals coming up, the viewers know, like, I'm not going to be chatting. Like, this is go time.
It's work time.
This is maximum focus time. But to have a little
Gotta
bit
lock
of
in.
crowd watching, and yeah, I mean, I try to build up the pressure. That helps a little bit. You know, I've got a lot of experience with in-person races at this point. It's just a little different at the national level, you know, a bigger deal. I think a lot of the pressures that I did really well last year, so now it's like, you know, I got to live up to my own, you know, my own performance last year as best as I can. Yeah.
Kyle, who's your pair
Go
and
ahead.
team? Your pair and team. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I'm going to be pairing with Matt Netlow. He's actually ranked number 1 in the JPAR currently. And then for the teams, we're going to be with Connor, who is an 11-year-old puzzling prodigy.
He is amazing. I've
And
seen his times.
yes,
You know, on myspeedpuzzling.com, you can click on a player and then compare your times, all the puzzles that you've done, the same puzzle that you've done. And like, he was like half an hour faster than me on like everything. It was crazy. Like,
well, he's insane. Yeah, I got the chance to puzzle with him. I was also on his team at Winter Carnival a couple months ago, and his passion for puzzles is awe-inspiring. He just, he wanted to puzzle all day long with me, and I did okay keeping up, but he's on another level, that's for sure. And then our 4th teammate is Josh, who he's actually the one that brought us all together. So we're gonna have an all-men team for nationals, which I think a lot of people are excited to see.
so sorry, that's you, Connor, Matthew, and Josh.
And Josh, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds really exciting.
Yeah, having an all guys team is pretty rare in the puzzling world right now. So that'll be fun to watch. And you all are very strong puzzlers, so that's a great team.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, we won't have time to practice until we're all there together in Washington, D.C. So that's a downside. But yeah, 4 really strong puzzlers. So it'll be cool to see what we can accomplish with that.
Yeah. No, that's really great. And I know who are you pairing with this go around as well?
For nationals,
Yeah.
who am I pairing with? I'll be with Matt.
Sweet.
Yep.
Yeah. Matt's been putting up some great numbers too, so you guys are gonna have a good time.
So I don't know Matt. I don't think, was he at Worlds last year? Has he done anything non-American?
You know, the only in-person competition he's done was Southeast Regionals, which he won that whole thing by like 18 minutes, I think it was, which is why he's so highly ranked. So this is kind of going to be not really his debut, but you know, this is like the biggest event that he'll be a part of so far. We're all looking forward to being there with him through it all.
That's awesome. Yeah, and are you planning to go back to Worlds?
I would like to. it kind of depends. You know, I still don't have a team put together, but I've been starting to ask some people. So I would love to, but I would like to have a solid team, just to make it, I don't know, to make it a little more worth it, I guess. Yeah, I've been twice now, and being there is, you know, that's unlike any other event. That's something special. So I would love to be able to do it again.
Yeah. I know a lot of US folks are kind of holding off on making worlds plans until after US nationals. So that way there's like breathing room to figure out, okay, what's next steps and all
Right.
that kind of stuff. And you know, connect with people and chat and see, you know, sort of plan from there. So that a lot of folks don't have everything locked in yet. That's pretty common right now.
Yeah, I
Yeah, that's where
noticed.
my head's been.
Yeah, I noticed when I looked at the participant list for the Worlds that a lot of the big name players from the US are missing. So, yeah, it did make
Yeah.
me wonder, but it does make sense that, yeah, see how the US nationals go, see like who's going, so maybe there are some prize people that pop up, and yeah.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of the Americans like to mix things up, you know, get on different teams, and so yeah, I do think a lot of people are waiting for nationals to come and go, and I'm sure a lot of people will be talking about it that weekend, and maybe we'll start to see some teams registering soon after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep reminding people that everybody's teams and pairs will take care of themselves. Just
Yeah.
give people a beat to focus on one thing at a time, and that usually helps. Yeah, you have a couple of shout outs in the chat from Gma that,
Oh,
you know,
cool. Yeah,
rooting for you.
that's
Gma,
awesome.
another celebrity in the puzzling world on Twitch. She's a fabulous human.
Yeah, my number 2 fan. That's what she calls herself. She says my mom is number 1, but she gets to be number 2. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's
Kyle, would you
adorable.
mind just sharing how you got into speed puzzling?
Yeah, like with a lot of other people, it was actually Karen Puzzle's video, but think I was one of the early ones. Like I started in July 2022, and the video that I saw was her covering. It was the first time she covered Worlds when she was talking about 2022. I timed myself doing a puzzle the next day, and I was not terrible at it, and I really enjoyed it. So I thought, okay, let's keep going. And it was perfect timing for me to then, you know, I did one online race and was like, okay, I love this. And I signed up for nationals that week, which was just a couple months later. So it all worked out really, really well. And then I got 16th in the country that first time. That was my first in-person event, so that was kind of a big wow for me. And yeah, then I've just been trying to get involved as much as I can. Not only doing nationals and winter carnival and my own state championship, but as Jim knows, I stayed overnight at their house once so I could compete in the Massachusetts state championship, and I went to the California state championship. So I take on a lot of the opportunities because I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
that's one of the
wonderful.
things I was gonna ask about. Is like, as one of the more well-traveled puzzlers in terms of getting to all the competitions, are you trying to like Thanos collect all of the state competitions to be in?
Gosh, that'd be fun. Really what it is like I'm in a really good time in my life where I could actually, you know, I can do this. I can be traveling around, you know, looking down the road. I expect, or I hope that I'll have a family and things like that. So my mindset is I got to do everything I can right now because I've got the ability to. So
That's really awesome. And I know you were at the like big 24-hour marathon the other day.
yeah,
Tell us a little bit about that.
that was, you know, I won't say outright my favorite event I've ever been to, but it was up there. That was so much fun, and a lot of it was the team I was with. You know, they're all super fast puzzlers, but great people as well. And it felt like there's something special about that event. It felt like we were conquering something, like bonded through the struggle. I really loved that about it. And then, we were going back and forth. There were two teams that were pulling away, pulling ahead of everyone else.
Who all was on your? Let's start out. Who all was on your team?
Yeah. So Alice, current U.S. national champion, and then Emma and Min, Hannah, Whitney, Claire, and Sammy. So yeah, those were the 8 of us coming in from all across the country. A lot of the teams were local or weren't traveling. I think we probably had the most variety coming in from different states. So yeah, that was the team, and we kept trading off. He was in the lead with one of the other teams. The Reuter sisters are on that team, and Kelly Walter, super fast puzzlers. And that was throughout the entire 24 hours. So it kept things very exciting the entire time, and we loved every minute, every hour of it.
And I really like that you mentioned that it felt like you guys were conquering something, because like every puzzle had its own challenges that you guys were trying to plow through.
Right.
And I know that the Reuters, for those of you listening, the Reuters were on the Busy Birdies team that won first place at Worlds this past year. Kelly Walter won pairs with Andrea Pang, is also like that was a stacked team, like Sarah Schuler and EB, like that was a stacked team. and you guys were just fighting every inch of the way to stay right in there. And it was really, really, really fun to watch. And how long were you at the table for, good sir?
Too long. So we worked on 21 puzzles as a team total, and I touched 20 of them. So there were a lot of puzzles where all 8 of us got in there, because you're trying to keep energy up and hands fresh and things like that. But I was loving that event, so I was in there a lot. Hour wise, I don't know, but I know that I only slept for about 40 minutes that night. We're already excited for the next one, whenever it happens.
You guys will, like, Avengers show up, do the drop down kind of a thing for it.
Oh yeah. We were the last team to sign up, and yeah, the organizers were pretty excited that we were all willing to come in, and it was totally worth it. They put on a great event.
That's awesome.
I just have a question. How did you organize the breaks with that 24-hour?
So we had a schedule, but we did a really terrible job sticking to it. The high priority was that we wanted everyone to have a solid sleeping break. So everyone at different points in the day had like a 5-hour or 4-hour break. So that helped, even though we didn't even hold to that very well. All of us were just so excited about the event that a lot of us just stayed in it too long or stayed in it too late. I don't know. So there really wasn't good planning. It wasn't good execution, I guess, is the real problem.
Okay. And another question. So I listened to the video from Yvonne and Evie on the Unicorn channel, talking about the 24-hour competition, and they said that there was an extra room off to the side, like a break room, or with a different puzzle going on or something, but somehow everybody just wanted to be where the action was. Like, people weren't kind of hanging out in the other space. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so they had like a restroom for us, like that's where all the meals were served, and you could spend some downtime there. But every time I went up there, so let me think, there were 13 teams of 8. So, however many people that is, 100 or so. Every time I went up there were maybe like 4 or 5 people. Everyone wanted to be hanging around, watching all the teams going at it. And part of that was, teammates kind of being on standby in case they needed to jump in. But yeah, everyone wanted to be where the action was. So the action was downstairs. Another room was upstairs. So they were quite, I don't know, a little bit of a distance away from each other. But everyone wanted to stay downstairs.
Mhm. All right. Yeah, it
That's
sounds like
really
such an
great.
amazing event, and yeah, hope to hear more, see more of these events popping up. It's just like such an intense and fun type of puzzle competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just about your Twitch. How often are you streaming, and like what's your like schedule, or how do you like to use Twitch for yourself?
Yeah. So for puzzling, the normal schedule is I do Tuesday night and Thursday night. So for the EU, that'd be really early Wednesday and Friday. And I feel it works well for my training if I kind of do like longer spurts of training. So I'll do like 3 or 4 puzzles in a row during one of those streams. And at this point, every single puzzle that I am practicing with is on stream. So I'm not doing much outside of it. That, you know, that's how I like to have it, is involving people and kind of building up that pressure I was talking about earlier. And we're a small group still, the speed puzzlers on Twitch, but growing steadily. It's been a lot of fun to see.
Mm-hmm. And so if you're doing like, if you do like twice per week and like 3 or 4 puzzles in a row, where are you getting all your puzzles from? Are you doing lots of puzzle swaps, or you do a lot of like buying secondhand, or how do you get your
Yeah,
inventory?
unfortunately, I don't have really good resources when it comes to like puzzle swaps or puzzle libraries. It's getting a lot better where I'm at. But we're still kind of at the starting stages of that. I have bought a lot of puzzles. I'm also fortunate enough, I've had a lot of viewers gift me puzzles to help me with training. And at this point, I have so many that it's different now because I have been collecting new ones from nationals. But generally, I have enough that I just keep rotating through them. You know, I'll try to wait 6 months, or try to let my memory of certain puzzles die off a little bit, so I don't have that advantage as much on later attempts. But I'm going through everything I've got again a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Yeah, Jim, did you have a last question for Kyle before we let him get off to bed?
Well, I was well, it's sort of a two-parter. One, you should tell people what your Twitch handle is so they can find it.
Yeah,
and
so
maybe Michelle can like put it in the.
Is it at Kyle Co? Is that right?
yeah, yep, KYLKO. Yeah, the unique thing about Twitch as a platform is it's kind of like an online hangout spot. So, you know, it's not so much about having your eyes glued to the screen or watching the content. It's about just being together, you know, talking about a shared passion, a shared interest. A lot of the viewers are doing puzzles at the same time, or you know, doing something else and checking back every so often to see how I'm doing. But yeah, I really like the platform, and I've almost hit 500 puzzles done on stream. So it's a pretty cool milestone, and crazy to think about how much time I've been on there. But I love it.
That's really lovely, and you get a shout out from Victor here for also being another person that rotates through old puzzles.
Yeah.
I know there's a divide between people that never do reruns and people that do, or that kind of thing. So like more and more people are starting to do those. I guess one of the things I'm curious about, we know that there's like the puzzle Instagram community and you know, like YouTube community, then like Puzzle FA. How does it feel to be one of the people that's really bringing more people into the fold of puzzling across the board? Like you're like in your Twitch, you're bringing more and more people into enjoying puzzling and being interested in it. So what is it like being one of those like leaders in the puzzle community?
Well, thanks. as much as I love the puzzles and love the events, like the best part of it, my favorite part is the people. You know, it's hard for me to express to the people back home like, how much I love my puzzling friends. And it goes, of course, we nerd out about puzzles when we gather together. We talk about all the puzzles, but beyond that, like when stuff's going on in my life, like they care, you know, even though a lot of them are so far away. So to see that continue to grow and maybe I have a small part in it, it just enriches the entire thing, you know, it makes it so much better. Yeah, I don't know. The people are really special to me. And maybe you wouldn't tell, you know, I'm in person, I'm a very mellow, very reserved person, but just know that it matters a lot to me and I really care. And I love being in the company of puzzlers, having them as friends.
That's
Well,
amazing.
you're a great human, Kyle, and a lot of people are rooting for you to do your best and have a great time, myself included. I think I'm gonna get to like hang out with you down there, which will be great. So
Oh,
um,
cool.
yeah, congratulations today on a fantastic time.
Thank you.
Like you did wonderful. Like you'd be really, really proud. And we're all excited for you, man. Congrats.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kyle. I hope you're going to come back and join and puzzle with us again.
I'd love to. Yeah. I hope I was coherent and yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks so much. I really enjoyed your company and say good night, good morning.
Right. Thanks. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, so we are just coming up to the 3-hour mark. So we have over 30 minutes left and we've had 65 finishes. Everybody is doing really great. Lisa just finished just then. Well done. So we still have Jane, Nicole, Everly, Marie, Marta, Vanita, Angelica, Claudia, Larissa, April. Still puzzling. Yeah, but having some finishes coming up soon.
Yeah, it's really great to see so many people pushing through and wrapping up this puzzle. I saw in the notes that a couple of people hadn't done a 1,000-piece puzzle for speed before. So folks that are really challenging themselves to try something new is really inspiring. So congrats on that and keep on pushing. I know we're coming up on the 3-hour mark and everybody's, you know, feeling the slog a little bit. It might be a little tough. I believe in you. Kyle and Gma and everybody else in the chat believes in you too. Keep on pushing. You can do this.
You know, and remember what you're doing is pretty amazing. Like average people take like a week to do a 1,000-piece puzzle. So the fact that you're sitting there focused intensely without a break for 3 hours is just shows your perseverance and endurance. So yeah, we hope that everybody finishes within the time limit. Looks really positive right now. We can see all those boxes filling up, all those dogs getting assembled. Yeah, and look, Everly has just got the last pieces of Matisse to do.
Close it out.
Go, Everly.
We believe in it. You can do it. There.
Woohoo!
Good job, Emily.
Well done.
I think Elisa is right on there too.
April, can you hear me, April? Could you please angle your camera down a bit more towards the table? If you just put it down a bit. Yes, excellent. Thank you. All right. So yeah, we can ask Quinta to join us, our guest for today. I'll just put somebody else up on the screen. Yeah. Here we go. So Quinta, if you're there, you can turn your camera on.
Hello.
Hi, Quinta.
Hi.
So yeah, great to have you. And yeah,
Yeah, thanks.
How did you find the puzzle today?
Oh my gosh, I loved it. Yeah, and when you said there was a version of this with a cat, with all cats, I was sold. It was really, really colorful, really fun to do. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Have you done this brand before?
I don't think so. I don't know what the brand was with the hamburger version of
That, w-
1,000 pieces.
that was Sunshine Puzzles.
No, then I don't have anything about this brand. It was really fun, really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you've done several competitions with Euro Jigsaw Jam and also some pairs as well. So
Yes, with my sister.
yeah,
And
and yeah, and you're also training for the Dutch nationals, I
yes,
hear.
that's true.
Yeah, so tell us about the competition so far in the Netherlands, how you're going with that.
Well, it's the Dutch Naturals is coming in June. We are also practicing for that, but most of all, the NK puzzling of the Hester version is coming the 6th of April, and I finished first place with my solo competition, and we had first place in teams competition. So I'm gonna do 2 competitions that day. So we're training. This month we are gonna train 2 times and making puzzles of 1,000 pieces with our team. And I'm also practicing myself. Not I'm trying as much as I can. Like 500 pieces. These brands are kind of new for me, so it's Jan van Hasteren most of all at the moment. Yeah, just to practice for the competition and stay focused with my head to do the puzzles. And yeah, I try to do a lot of them, but it's normally I try one a day, but it's not always gonna happen. But sometimes I do like 2-3 puzzles a day, and it depends, 500 or 1,000. 1,000 pieces takes more time, so and a longer sit like today. So I have to practice that as well. So
Yeah, with the Jan van Hasteren, so the NK Liga Puzzle competition that uses only Jan van Hasteren puzzles.
yes.
So it's mainly 1,000 piece puzzles for teams and pairs, but for the individual, it's 500 pieces. But there's not such a big selection of 500 piece puzzles, from what I could see.
Not as many as 1,000 pieces. I don't specifically know how many there are, but what I do know is with the final, you will get a new puzzle of 500 that nobody has trained or nobody has ever made. It's a new one that's coming out that day, and that's also with the final puzzle of teams and the pairs. It's also a new one, so we have to see what it's gonna be. It's a surprise, but
Yeah.
we trained really well. The busy puzzles, the easier puzzles, and we have I can say a great team spirit. Everyone has their own thing to do. If I look at myself, I'm always doing the edges, and my friend is doing the sorting of the puzzle so that nobody has to look and can just puzzling. And like my sister and my other friend are doing the big project or the project that has to be filled in. And when I'm done with the edges, we putting all the projects in the puzzle and putting them together, and then it's just the filling. And yeah, that's we have good hopes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
do you know how many people will be in the final for the teams? Like how many teams make it through to the final? Is it the top 3 from every qualifying event?
Yes, we have like 15 qualification rounds before you get to go to the finals from teams, and from solo and duo there are like 7 or 8. So I thought for the individual it's 21 people. Pairs I don't know, and teams is like 45, like that, 45 teams, and then it's who wins is national of the NK puzzling. So
Yeah, that's quite a smaller group for the finals then. So it's not like hundreds, but it's
no,
so you've got a really good chance. I mean, one of 21 people in the individual final.
with my individual, yeah, I had a puzzle that I practiced a lot because what you said, it's a little section of puzzle, so you can train on that. And I made a lot of them, and I had a puzzle that I already made, but my time was longer than I practiced it at home, but also it was good enough for first place. So it was like 40 minutes or something. So yeah, last year I came third in my qualification round, so it's a little bit better. So we have to see how it goes in the finals. So
That's really exciting. Is that in April? Was that the first weekend of April that
yes,
happened?
the 6th of April.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's a whole day. So in the morning we do our individuals, and then there's a break, and then in the afternoon we are having the team. So it's all on one day, and the pairs is at the same time as the individual round.
Okay.
But it was you had to make a choice, because when you do the individuals and you are gonna go through the finals, you can't compete at the same time with pairs, because the final is at the same time. So you had to choose what you had to do. Last year you could do both, but that's not possible this year. It has changed.
Yeah, no, it's going to be April, the weekend of April 5th and 6th is going to be a massive weekend for speed puzzling, because there's multiple nationals. There's the US nationals.
Yes, it's true.
There's the Jan van Husteren competition, and there's also something else happening, I think, in Scandinavia. Oh, and the UK as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite busy, and also the Dutch naturals are in June. So for the first time, I'm really curious about that. The sign up was yesterday, so we did that. So we're gonna see how that goes.
That's exciting. I had a question. So every time you participate, you often have a lot of supporters in the chat. Can you tell us, is it your family or friends, or do you have like do you have a channel or something that people know you from?
I do have a TikTok account, but I'm not live on there or anything. Maybe in the future I will do that, or also on Twitch, because you see it more often, and it's actually really cool to have a community like that. I set it on my Instagram so that people can watch. So maybe people are clicking on that and just watching the stream. I also have a community I'm in, and there are a lot of supporters there. So they ask me when is the competition, we want to see it. So then they come, and I love it that they are in chat, but I don't need all the highlights or in this, being in the spotlight or anything, just having fun. And also my other team members are always watching when they can, and a couple of family people are there too. So
it also helps that you have a unique name. So there's only one Quinta in the speed puzzling world that we know of. So
yes,
that helps.
Yes. Yeah, you're not seeing that name very often. So and my other name is like little team. An individual name is like Puzzle Queen, and that's a name you might see in the chat that people are calling me that. So
is your other community like is that to do with, is it part of the puzzling world, or is it with another hobby?
It's actually a kind of server that is on Discord, and you can play games there, just chatting or talk about whatever you want. And they know that this is my hobby, and this is kind of being a sport for me with all the speed puzzling. And they're just curious. They become friends, and they always ask how it goes with puzzling, or when I have a competition, or it's just chatting. And I like to play some games sometimes, and then just doing a puzzle. It's very all over the place with everything. So it's really cool.
Yeah, that's great that you have a support crew and a community to share your passions with. I had another question, but it's just okay. So the theme for today is different piece counts. Obviously, you're training for two competitions coming up. You've got the individual 500 and the team 1000. And today was an individual 1000. How does your approach change when you are doing different piece counts?
Do you mean like it's a longer sit for like 1,000 pieces, or?
Yeah, like, did you do anything different today compared to if you were sitting down for a 500 piece competition in terms of your table setup, or did you use trays or any other things to help you?
Well, I like the space. I have a really big table, so I can get all the space that I want, but it's also something I have to be trained and work on, because a lot of space is not always easier to do. You can, for the better way, you can keep it small, because then you can see everything. And now I was like hanging over the table a lot, or I had to stand a couple times, and that's not so good for my back. So I was really in a back pain while I was flipping. I have to say, with the 500, I'm always trying to be under the 3-minute mark when I'm flipping and sorting the edges out. And I have to accept that with 1,000 pieces, it's longer. It takes longer, and that's okay. And I was really happy because I was flipping and I was nearly done and did a little bit of sorting. And I thought I heard it was like the 6-minute mark, so I was okay with that. So I had to go keep going. I don't know. The last 1,000 pieces, it was with the hamburger. I didn't sort anything quite yet, and I did that a little bit better now, but it also was a thing that I thought it was hard, because I was all over the place. I had to sort the pieces and place them where they belong, but in effect I was distracted from all the colors, and then you were still looking for other things. Well, I was doing, like, example, the duck with the flower background, and then I saw some yellow, and I was, oh no, I had to be focused on that one. So the strategy is quite the same, just getting looking at the colors and placing it where it belongs, so that I don't have to switch to places, and then it stays there and it has to be there, so I can work from there. And I normally do the edges first, but I didn't do that because I thought they were harder than I thought, and I had a little bit of struggle with the edges. So I was happy that I did that a little bit later. But no, I'm just looking for colors, and when the project is like almost done, but I have a few pieces that I missing, I'm not gonna look for them, because they will come. And I'm not using any sorting trays, just placing it on a bump and then going. The only thing I do is like my box. I place it in a holder or anything, and then I can see. But I have to say, when you're flipping the pieces, I look to the box to see where things belong, and then I try to not look on the box a lot, because it's distracted and it takes time. So then I can focus on the puzzle. But yeah, I think that's a little bit my strategy, but also a little bit of struggle that I have to train. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure Jim has some strategic questions for you.
Oh, tell me about.
How could you have guessed? No, I'm always that was like, I really like the way that you think about things and how you process it. It's really, really cool. There's all sorts of pros and cons to using sorting trays. What keeps you from trying to use it in the 1,000?
It's if you have sorting trays, it takes space, I think, and I think it's in my way when I'm gonna use them. I didn't try it. I also use sorting trays when I'm doing a puzzle like 3,000 pieces, because then you need a space for the projects, and the sorting trays you can leave them behind. I don't know. I maybe have to try it before I can judge about it, I think. But in my first opinion, it takes a lot of space, and maybe I am looking for some pieces that are in the sorting trays, because you sort them, but you want to put it in. So you are maybe gonna look into the sorting trays to just look for that one piece. And I don't, it's not how you say it, not the thing you have to do, because
Yeah.
it costs
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's real easy to end up with accidental split piles that way, unless you're really accurate on your sort. But even then, if you set that tray off to the side, I'm sure everybody's done it at some point where they're like, but I can't find this chunk. Oh. and then
Yeah,
they go
you
pull
just
it in.
gotta look. So, and I think I am that person who is gonna look for it, and that will take like 10 seconds, and 10 seconds seems short, but in the puzzle world it's a lot. So but maybe I am
Especially if
the
it compounds, right? Like the more 10 seconds that you have to look for something, it
yeah,
adds up.
exactly. And do you that if you're doing it a couple of times, it's a 1 minute, and in a 1 minute a lot can happen. So
Yeah.
but maybe I will try. I have like sorting trays like in a puzzle piece from plastic. It's really small. It's like I think this big, but you have like the bigger ones with the white background. I that is something that maybe I can work with, because you can keep them aside, but you can still look at it. They're flat, and the other things that I have are little boxes, so you still have to look at it. So maybe that's an option that I can do if that's working for me. But
Maybe.
and right now it was a white puzzle, and I have a dark brown table, so it was really easy for me to see right now. But if it's a darker puzzle, you sort it, and it's 1,000. A sorting trace can definitely help, because you can put them on it. But I think if you have the flat ones that I see by some people, you have to put them on the trays. And I'm thinking now that's also that's also costing time. So I don't know if that's gonna work for me, because you are running go as fast as you can. And I think if I'm sorting a project, I put them just on a place and then keep them aside, and they will come later. And if I'm looking for it, I usually put it a little flat on the table, so that I can still see what pieces are there. But yeah, who knows in the future? I will try it
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Well, the fun thing is that there's rarely a singular right or wrong answer. A lot of it comes down to what's the puzzler's preference in the moment, like how
Yes.
comfortable they are with a lot of things. Like I know some people that can't puzzle without a tray, right? Like they absolutely have to have it. And then there's other people that, like, if they see a tray, it stresses them out because they feel like they have to use it even though they don't want to, which is really fun. I guess one of the things that I'm always curious about, there's the ongoing debate of edges versus no edges first,
Yes.
right? And we even saw it today where like Kati and Hana didn't do edges initially.
Oh, Hannah did.
And
Hannah did the
sorry,
border,
Hannah did. Yeah,
but
yeah,
Kati didn't.
Hannah did the border. Kati didn't. And they were within a few seconds of each other, like margin of uncertainty with any number of things, right? When you first look at a puzzle, you said that as you're flipping, you're making that determination. About
Yes.
how long do you think it takes you to make that decision of, are you going to do the edges or not?
Well, with this one, I saw we have to open the box earlier before the countdown, so you see what the image is gonna be. I try not to look at it, because then you're gonna make decisions already. And I just wanted to wait with the countdown and just go with the flow. And I saw the picture, and mostly I look at it and like, is the edge important to do as first? Because then you can put the project in, and especially the projects that fit into the edges. But I don't know, this one is a white one, and I also with a white edges, I don't do it the first, because it's gonna take me a lot of time, and I think I have to think about an EGG I did when I did the border. I think if you have a lot of color, so like a landscape puzzle, you have the sky, you have the mountains, the trees, the water, that are sections that you can easily sort, and then it's better to do the edges, because you have a full edge, and you can see how the puzzle fits and how big it is. Most of the people are making projects and filling them in, and then there's just a lot of space between it when it actually comes together already. So the first thing I thought with this puzzle was a lot of projects, a lot of things you can sort, and the edges were not even coming to my mind to do as first. I was like, I always flipping, and I always getting the edges out, because if I am working on the puzzle and I struggle and I have a feeling like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose it, I'm not, I have no idea what to do, then I have the edges as a backup plan. So if it's easier for me to start with it, like for what the picture is, then it's better to do the edges first. When I'm doing a project that I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna do it. But if the project will work, I leave the edges behind, because then I can always fall on those. Yesterday I did this puzzle from the last EGG with the octopus.
Yeah.
And with that one, I didn't do the edges first as well, because there was so much color, and if I'm looking at myself, the colors, it will work for me. And then when I think I'm I get lost, I'm gonna do the edges, and then I'm looking for light or darker ones, and then it will come to me. But with this one, let me see. Yeah, like these sizes were kind of good to do, and then the letters at the bottom, it was a struggle. I don't know why, but it looks so much the same. So that was a little bit hard, but then I just leave it, because I did the edge like this and then continue the rest. And then the bottom line, I leave it at last, because if I know it's already a struggle, I just leave it and go find something else to focus on.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll just one moment. We've got 5 minutes left, and yeah, Marie is really close to finishing. We have,
you can do it.
Angelica also only has about 20 to 30 pieces left, so looking really good there. And yeah, Marta, Claudia, Juanita, and April, keep on pushing, and yeah, give it your best for the next 5 minutes.
You can do it
as fast as you can go. Like this 5 minutes is the fastest you could possibly puzzle. It's okay if you don't finish, but I want this to be the fastest puzzling that you've ever done for 5 minutes. That's all you got to do. It's only 5 minutes. You can make that happen. I believe in you.
Smash them in.
Smash them in. Actually, that brings up a really good point. Watching a lot of puzzlers, I've found that some puzzlers tend to be very, very light whenever they pick up the pieces and drop them in, and other puzzlers tend to be very what I think of as heavy, where they'll grab a piece and they like smash it in or really like pound the table a little bit. Where do you think you fall on that spectrum, or is it something else entirely in terms of like how do you your physicality while puzzling?
I tried to do the trick that Victor does with his flipping, and then the edges in his hand are and the good side, and then you have to place them. I have to train that, but it's also, I don't know, not that hard for me. I do as well when I want when I'm looking for a one piece and I see it and I want to grab it. My nails sometimes are in the way, so I don't have to be that. My nails can be too long because then I can't puzzle because it's harder. It takes like a half a second, sometimes a second to get a piece, and you want to go as fast as you can. Sometimes when I just flipping, I'm what I do is with my with my hand, I smash them away so that I make space, and some pieces are already laying good with the picture upon, and so that I don't have to flip all the pieces. So I'm gonna make it myself easy. I don't know. When I have a project, I just kind of pick this one side and this side, so like left and the right under, and then stretching it together so that it's how you say it. I don't know, but you have it. I think more control for me, and then I can get it in the puzzle right where it belongs. Because if you are putting it like this, it falls apart. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I found myself some tricks to help me with that. And yeah, just like with the filling, I just try to keep both hands working, but most of the time I puzzle with one hand. And I think I can get more out of that because I don't know, I get nervous when I get a piece and do it in this hand and then lay it in. I'm like, no, I'm grabbing it and just do it like that. I think it's faster for me than I have to use my other.
Yeah.
But sometimes it works because when I'm working on a project like a dog right now, I keep my hand on the project, and then with the other hand I will fill them in, and the puzzle stays in place. So I don't, if it's in it.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be doing a lot as long as it's like stabilizing is doing something, which is
Yeah,
enough, right?
it's staying on the table and it's not moving around, so you can fill that piece in where it belongs. And sometimes I try to smash a puzzle piece in the puzzle and it's not, and it don't want to go in, and
Yeah.
then I'm pushing too hard on the puzzle piece so that it blocks. And I think you have to learn to move it gently into the into the spot,
Yeah.
than like smashing it,
10,
because smashing
8,
is
7,
to
6,
it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop.
Oh,
Well done, everybody.
Congratulations, everybody.
We had 2 people finish in the last 2 minutes. I was so
that's
so
great.
nervous for them. Well
Marie
done,
did
Marie.
great. Yeah.
Marie just
And-
finished
and-
with 30 seconds to go, and
Angelica passed out on the table.
Angelica like 2 minutes ago.
Congratulations.
Oh, well done. All right, so Marta, Claudia, Juanita, Larissa, and April, if you could count up your leftover pieces and then write that in the chat.
And great job, everybody.
Yeah,
Doing a
you've
1,000-piece solo is wild.
3.5
It's wild.
hours. So,
I mean, on the box, they usually say like what, 5 to 99 years or something like that. Like that takes a while, and you guys are only doing it in a few hours. It's still wild.
It's also a long sit, 3.5
Yeah.
hours.
A long sit, a
Yeah.
long stand. It's a long time. It's a lot of endurance, and the fact that people completed this or got close to completing it is just truly amazing. And if you're on the bubble, like after you count up the pieces, go on ahead and finish it up. Like, you know, do the thing. We're rooting for you. Get it done. If you want, you can use the Quinta method of taking a piece and just jamming it in until it fits,
Just
and
smashing.
then just smash it. And then it's relatively close to done. Nobody will notice.
Well, I'm curious because there are people who didn't finish the puzzle, which is okay because meanwhile I was like an hour and 50 about this puzzle, I believe, but 3.5 hours sit, that takes respect. But I'm curious if they will finish it after the EGG. I hope they do because
One thumbs up, yeah.
Or
yeah,
can
and
have a
not
lunch
that
break.
and not that I think oh, the time is over, I have to stop, and just not completing the puzzle. I hope they do.
Yeah, no, I hope everybody enjoyed the puzzle, and could think about your favorite artists. And yeah, I really liked the way that there's just different art styles here. I think that was really cute.
It's really cute.
And also how they make the dog names.
Yeah, the
Yes.
puns get me every time. It's excellent. Do you have a favorite dog pun in here?
I had to look.
Barksy
I
is
had to
pretty
look.
good.
I think the Vendak van Gogh.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think it's really nice because in with the painting is Vincent van Gogh, and the type of names they think about it, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
So I
I'm
don't
I'm
quite
at
have a
a
favorite. So
I'm at a toss up between Roth Dog and Labrador Dali. I think like there's just something so slick about those, like Labrador Dali. It just
Labrador Dali is pretty cool. I like that one.
yeah.
it's with the mustache at the
Yeah.
April, if you can just write the number of leftover pieces in the chat, or did you have a question, April?
Yeah, quick question, because I have quite a few leftover pieces here. I think everybody else is well ahead of me, and it's taking quite a while to count all these leftover pieces. Can I just say I'm done?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many dogs have you finished?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9, 8, 9.
Oh, that's great. So you're well over halfway of the puzzle.
Oh yeah, and I'll definitely finish it later today.
Yeah.
But yeah, just counting everything. I keep losing count because I'm listening to everybody chat away.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries.
That's probably around 600, 650 on the low end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope
Which
you
is
enjoyed
great
it,
job.
April.
Oh,
Even-
it's been excellent. I'll definitely be back. I haven't competed in a puzzle in over 20 years, so it was just trying to get back in the swing of things there.
Well,
Oh,
welcome back to the
fantastic.
party. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for participating today. And yeah, oh look, we have a dog. Juanita's got her dog out. Yay.
Hey, Marguerite.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, and thanks so much for joining us, Quinta, and sharing a bit more
no
about
problem.
yeah, how you approach puzzles, and good luck for April the 6th.
Thanks. Will do. Bye bye.
Double final. All right. Thanks much, everybody. Also,
Bye.
everyone who followed us on YouTube and commented. And yeah, look forward to the next competition. Oh, there's another dog. Marta's got hers out.
Oh man, who let the dogs out? Sorry.
All right.
It's a dog party. I love it.
Yeah, it's the best time just to use that. You let the dogs out. All right. Thanks, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks. Congrats.